They're falling, but Pike has the bigger one. Chikuchi up. He's still dusted, but he'll get up the hill and far away. So PPD, we know the 5 positions have it hard, but that is just brutal.
That was pretty funny. I think that was 4 bounces in a row where there was 1 or 2 secondary targets it could have hit instead and kept jumping to him. I mean, in a way, maybe he was happy with it. You know, I'm in on my ulti, so I'm getting healed from it, but the slow stacking is really, really a problem.
Yeah, but he did his job, right? He saved the Weaver from terrorize.
Did the right thing, for sure.
Yeah. Big pickup and a big reason, too, why you want to have that Abaddon. It's that saving grace. Like, we've seen a couple of oracles appearing, but Optic shield makes it very difficult for Liquid just to focus that target with disables and just pop them. But they're still looking very good, Team Liquid. 9,000 gold advantage. The Manta Sal just got completed over a Miracle. Optic Gaming need to... You said amp up the tempo. It's still... Can they amp harder?
Well, I'm looking for Miracle to amp up the GPM. My prediction was 1k plus GPM.
That'll be good.
That still hasn't been done, I think.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah,
the entire group stage, it hasn't.
He's on the way. 815 GPM on this Alchemist right now. BO3 runes are about to spawn, and Optic in a good position here to claim at least 2 of them.
Oh, Mind Control's ready to fight on bottom lane, but Tumbakura, GH, they're all coming in. The bottom tower should be taken. They see 33 over in the tree lines. He'll need a Shadow Blade right now if he's going to survive, and he is Invis. They're revealing with the dust. PPD's turning around. Aphotic Shield gives him a little bit more life to begin with. Then gets hit by the Bramble 2 times over, and that's already triggered his borrowed time, so DK will fall. Abaddon will follow through. And Team Liquid, Tier 2 tower is gone. And maybe more. Zai so low on life. The Radiance Burn got him. The Acid Spray was ticking it. And Miracle just walks by and gets a drive-by kill onto the Zai.
That Alchemist taunt.
That's a lot of weight to move from foot to foot.
He makes it look easy, and then he makes it look easy.
And now they're going to go for Roshan 20 minutes in. It's not like Miracle's got enough money already. He's already staring down the barrel of an Assault Cuirass.
Yep. What's the GPM at now? 837, so gone up 20 since we last looked at it. What Optic did manage to do there was at least to grab 3 bounty runes. It's really important against this Alchemist to grab these runes. Things could be looking a lot worse right now. They did also get the tower.
Going up, Mateleman with this Diffuser Blade over on the Weaver. Mateleman getting this ulti off is just impossible. So when they can isolate him like this, Optic know they have the kill. The cost is, of course, the Aegis, the Immortal, and it is on Miracle.
And it did seem like Liquid planted him down there as a distraction.
Oh, Mind Control triggers up PPD's ulti again. CCNC's nearby. Avalanche starts. He's finally going to try and get rid of Kuro. No, he can't. The raindrop protecting Kuro so well. So CCNC, he can't finish the jump. He's tiptoeing around the Bramble. He wants to go again. Blinks off cooldown in 4 seconds time. They don't know Kuro's in the tree lines, but now they know where Mind Control is. Dragon Tail stuns up from 33. He came under the cover of Invis. Pycast there too. With the Sentry Wars down, there's nowhere for Cleese to really run off to. Or is there? He's still got the Swarm on him in Mind Control. He's actually got the distance. He's got the speed. And he's away.
Only Sentries on PPD in that situation, and that doesn't cut it for that kill. And you know what, Toby?
What?
Space for Miracle. He's just farming. He's up to 870 now.
Let me keep the tally going. My space created. Copy-paste binds.
Yep, pretty much.
And Miracle has practically got the AC.
Yeah. He's getting really, really big there.
And BKB will be coming in soon for 33. He needs a little bit more time to farm this one up. I don't know if they can really keep up with the other cores, however.
Yeah, Pycat is closing in on this too. I think it's a good approach here. Optic need 2 things. They need BKB so that they can stay alive in the fight against all this magic damage and focus fire. And then they need a solution for Alchemist. These are the 2 things they need.
Pycat staying nearby for the tether, but it will not happen. They have more than enough control through just Matumberman. They didn't even need anything else for that. And now they find 33. Climbing up Ancients, Kuro will slow down the Frost Blast. They Sentry and Observer. And 33, the TP out. Perfect way to play it. There is no more stuns available.
Chain Frost? The sound is nice. It follows all over.
Is under attack.
Tanked. Like a bounce. Tier 1 towers now going to be brought down. Liquid, they're ready for this push. The Assault Cuirass has just arrived. So, yeah, 23 minutes in. 20,000 net worth. Normally it's pretty good when a team can go with that kind of net worth per minute, but having the Alchemist this big, these BKBs will allow Optic to survive, but it will not allow them to kill. And they're TPing over. The Dire scanning up. Highcat wanted to know it was going to be safe, trying to get into the back lines. As the front lines attack, the Swarm is really good. Hits mind control, hits Kuro, and that's why CCNC focused and concocts stuff into the rear. They're looking for the kill on Design, able to claim it, so there goes the medic. And then Reincarnation. Wraith King gets back to the world of the living, the Bramble. It won't catch anyone from Optic, neither does it Terrorize. Two huge whiffs, and Optic have an opportunity with these control factors gone and Chemical Rage timing out. Optic will look to turn this. They've already managed to nuke down GH, CCNC, sacrificing himself to do this. With none of that burst damage, Optic just have to stay inside their base and fight illusions. They can't even fight the real stuff.
And you still have the second life on Miracle in this situation. The Aegis wasn't burnt. Still, that's the kind of fight that we're looking for from Optic, right? They activate this BKB on the Weaver. The Dragon Knight will have one relatively soon. And, well, it looks like Zai is indeed working on that Spirit Vessel. However, he has to play around a couple of additional problems right now with both the Manstall and the Aegis. It's a step in the right direction. Optic, they have to just hold on and try to get the items that can bring him down.
He's got the Vision, the Observer, and Sentry, but it's kind of the worst target for him because he can't instantly kill it off, and they really would have preferred the DK. But PPD, 8th death in this game. He is half of Team Liquid's kills.
Did you see how fast he died to the Clinks there? That's some serious minus armor stacking. The AC, Clinks as Deso. I'm not sure if PPD wasn't an Acid Spray as well at the time, but you add those up, it's like minus 15 armor. But what armor do they even have on their side? It takes away pretty much all of Tiny and Reaver's armor.
Miracle, Gunamanda, try and actually, well, use the illusions to get rid of the bug as quick as he can.
Liquid got 3 runes.
Yeah.
Toby, you gotta keep your eyes on it, man. That 1,000.
My eyes are watching.
We're almost there.
I'm watching mid lane. Zai comes in. He's trying to think he's under the cover of Glimmercave, but the Sentry Ward was already down from Liquid, and it is the ultimate trap. Mind Control and Miracle combo with the rest of Liquid. 5 heroes mid, ready to push.
Holding this without Dragon Knight is really difficult. He's going to have to buy back if they want to try to defend these middle barracks. Yeah. They might just be giving them away. Dragon Knight buying back when he's this close to BKB is really, really annoying.
Miracle's hunting for another kill. PPD, is this going to be your 9th death of the game? Technically, it'll be the 11th. 2 of them were on his terms. Miracle, Chemical Rage. He's trying to taunt his way out. There's only got another 2-3 seconds left on it. So he'll run back out through the mid. The tower is gone. So they can attack into the shrines if they want to. As the top's back, they're getting Miracle in real deep. The drop is perfect. And without the Aegis Immortal, with it being timed out, Miracle can be brought down. Matumba's trying to help him out by coming in closer. But Pycat runs through. A huge kill. 703 gold worth of a kill. And they're charging forward. CCNC with a stun. Wraith King, he's got 21 charges. Does he want to burn it? Does he want to try and come back to the world of the living? Maybe not, because 33 can't even run away. He'll dodge the stun into the Shadow Realm, and he did actually burn the Reincarnation. So Mind Control turns around, trying to take the fight. Zai, oh my god, this is not what he wants to be in. And Mind Control, he's got himself a double kill. Miracle opened up.
Beautiful
and just
bait.
brought down Pycat. You thought it was Optic's fight for a moment.
Beautiful bait. He buys back, has the Boots of Travel, comes in. They overcommit on Matumba, man. And with these 2 heroes dead, Weaver has to buy back to try and defend this. And Miracle feels pretty good about buying back here. In case he does die somehow, what are the odds that Optic can get down a lane and actually start dealing structural damage with Liquid having this much map control at this moment in time?
Not a lot, and they still need to have the sustain to come in from Zai, but Mind Control has just been given one task, make Zai's life a living hell. Both of these supports, you actually see how much they've been focused. 8 deaths on Zai, it's 9 deaths on PPD. They're not even worrying about the cause, they're worrying about the sustain that Optic can give their cause. Delete this, then the cause are an easy thing. So we get to see that one moment again as Miracle, happy just to beat down through the melee racks, and this tossed back, actually put him in a real rough position as the Aegis timed out.
This is pretty much perfect what Optic did there. They could not have made a better play than this exact one. Tossing the Alchemist as Aegis expires, and still, again, there's so much in the bank. Liquid have so much leeway because of the huge advantage that they have, and Miracle with a great planned play. They had a lot of time to plan this as well, Liquid. Keep it in mind, that kill on the Wraith King took so long that they could communicate, alright, if they overcommit, I can buy back and
It's
come
a
back
bait. It's an ultimate bait. It's just the illusion. Now the real team of Team Liquid come through. 33. He did break the smoke almost instantly, thanks to the fact that he was there. But they're jumping over. Miracle, he jumps in close, but then the space created with Terrorize and Chain Frost. All the damage that Team Liquid need to win this fight. Pycat 33. They just don't have the extra teammates. Pycat, he wants this kill, but he can't even claim Miracle. Denied. Denied. Pycat into the tree. They'll get the stun out. And Optic, they're all dead. Tribute LD.
It takes some confidence to go in there as Alchemist without ulti. You really need to trust in your team. No!
They call it
984!
They call it. He's so close to getting him, but it won't happen. The Team Liquid have it. Game 1 against Optic Gaming. It looked close, it looked good, but this Alchemist was a ticking time bomb that exploded on Optic.
They took so much advantage of that last pick and found a beautiful solution to this game. And something that we've seen from Liquid a lot, how well they play around each other. There's these two moments, really, in the end as well, right? The one is Miracle buys back, comes in, Matumba is baiting. This last fight, Miracle's baiting, Matumba Man comes in. They just play around each other really nicely. I look at this Alchemist, I'm like, you're choosing to take a team fight without Chemical Rage right now?
Yeah.
Didn't matter. They're too far ahead. They're confident, they know what to do.
He was so far ahead of that. And the amount of damage, like Miracle did 21,000 damage in that game. But it's the fact that he almost hit 300 CS, 980 GPM. Like, they killed him a couple of times when they managed to isolate him, but then everyone else got space. It's like Liquid. It's just so many problems. They have to try and find a problem. Optic, Game 2, cannot wait for it.
Thank you very much, Toby 1 and Syndrome with the opening game of our best of 3. The players will be taking a break, of course, and we'll catch up with our panel members to find out their thoughts. We'll also bring in a few of the other members of our broadcast team as well. Gents, I hate to say it, but it was kind of straightforward for Liquid.
Yeah, quite a good last pick Alchemist. And it was pretty clever the way they ended up adjusting to the lanes. They end up they don't care where their clinks kind of goes. That's the thing about Liquid that's really scary. A lot of teams have been doing it, but just the adaptation. You see this certain thing happen, you're like, oh, we don't really want our clinks to get pressured because of this dual lane. Let's switch it up. And it seemed like they were able to put their own pressure, and this was what gave Alchemist, Miracle, all that space to just farm up.
Yeah, Dots, your highlights from that game?
It really does. A lot goes back to the draft. The fact they recognize it's such a good out draft, like the viewers at home. What makes it a good out game is the fact they have these two supports, Io, Abaddon. They don't do anything. 5-position Abba, very static, sit in lane, use your miscall, use your shield, and then their other cores on the side lanes don't rotate as well. So Alk has a pure 1v1 mid with an okay matchup, and he doesn't get contested in his jungle. You've got to be able to contest Alk's jungle if you want to shut him down.
And they don't even have, like, after the lane phase, you look at their heroes, they don't really have the heroes to burst down an Alchemist, right? I feel you want either control or heavy burst damage to actually kill that hero, but looking at them, their supports are Io and Abba, like you said. They don't really have the control. It's like a DK stun, and they have to kill him with a DK stun or an Abba toss.
Yes, but it was also the perfect setup from Liquid, I think. The Lich into the Alchemist, actually it makes Alchemist almost impossible to kill, because the only problem he has really is an armor issue. But as soon as you're Frost Armor, you don't have that anymore. They tried to kill him in the jungle, they couldn't even bring him down below half health.
I think he's
the Frost Armor.
I'm getting this distinct impression that he's just actually a Lich fanboy. Why don't we bring a couple of members of our broadcast team in, and we haven't spoken to just yet, and visit the regional corner with Machine and his +1.
Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate that. Anyway, I do have Grant. Yes, it's back the corner. Previously, it was myself and Jack hanging out, and now actually we get to get more insight from experts of their respective regions. North America's up first. Optic are up first. And I want to try and understand, of course, they're going to try and stay cool, calm, and collected. And I want to understand a little bit more about Optic Gaming. I mean, first thing that kind of stands out to me is, just last year, I was doing a group stage panel with Pycat and CCNC. Look at them now.
Yep, they're moving up. I went out to dinner with them. I asked them, like, so how did you guys, like, how did you just make a team? And they both started telling, like, these bogus stories that clearly weren't right. So I listened to them one-on-one. Yeah. And from what I put together is Peter went to the talent room. He said, hello. When Shiley said hi. Yeah. And then Peter slid right into the DMs, and next month they had a team.
As easy as that?
As easy as that.
Now, I want to understand, just a bit of a personal opinion here. Did you expect to see CCNC climb so high so fast? He's in an upper bracket game at TI.
Yep. I didn't think to see him climb that high, but everyone said, like, him and his teammate 747 back in the day, they just played 1v1, Arteezy as well. They all just triangle 1v1, 1v1. Now he's at TI, one of the younger ones, and he's done amazingly.
And so has North American Dota. My last question to you before I throw it back to Paul, but, you know, NA Dota seems to be just kind of slapping down the gauntlet here at TI.
Yeah. They picked it up finally.
Saw it coming?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming. I think everyone else at home saw it coming as well, but me more so. And, I mean, they moved up. It's looking rough after game 1 for Optic, but hey, you never know. Peter probably has something.
Yeah, maybe he'll pull something out from his green skirt. Either way, let's go ahead and head back over to that gorgeous panel with the daddy of Dota.
Thank you very much. What? The Nahas isn't here, though. However, we do have these 3 maybe gents, by the way. You just need to hang out in the talent a bit more, right? And then eventually someone will DM you and you could be playing here at TI 90 next year.
I think I remember Peter walking right by me.
Right. Did he not? He didn't slide into your DMs. That's not what's right. However, we do have some more content coming your way. Now, I particularly love the stuff that Valve and the guys here that put all the show together, put these pieces together about all the teams. And we've got one for you now. And who better to start with than the defending champions of Team Liquid?
A little bit closer to me. Yeah, perfect. So, what do you guys like most about your team?
I don't like my team, honestly. I'm just here for the sake of winning. That's it. I don't like them.
I see his point, but what I
Like I said many times, it's like a family.
You need to get me a beer. I'm the captain here.
So yeah, I think friendship matters in the team.
Take it easy on the boat.
Definitely having a good personal relationship is important. If, for example, we didn't like each other, playing, like, you know, getting up in the morning and spending time playing scrims or even tournaments would feel like work.
Yeah, they're great players. Well, actually, they make it not so hard for me. They're really good guys.
Whenever I'm away from home and I come and spend time with these guys, it doesn't feel that much different. I feel like I'm still at home.
Touching, man. That was touching. Touching moment.
Our goal wasn't to just win one TI. We wanted to be the best team in the world. To become the best team, you have to stay in top form.
Basically, we just played a lot of tournaments. We had our ups and downs.
There were some bad conditions in the first tournaments for us, like preparation-wise. Of course, I think that playing all the tournaments possible, it's the best practice you can have.
We have the best captain in the world, Kuroki, so it's easy to overcome those things with the Kuro.
I concur.
It was definitely one of our line of thinkings that the tournament itself serves as practice. At the end of the day, I hope it serves us to do well in TI 8. It's a lot of experience we gathered as a team.
For us, it's just self-reflection. After that tournament, you should just self-reflect and see what you can do better and maybe lower your egos, because people are getting better. You have to adapt to them and respect what they do and watch them, because they're trying to get to you. If you're the best, it's like the people are coming for you.
Quite recently, we're getting back in the zone. We're preparing for our next coming event, which is TI Vancouver.
Winning TI7 and going to TI8, I feel like there's no really pressure on us to win this event. Of course, it will be written in the books if we were to win 2 consecutive TIs, but for us, we don't really think about that.
I feel like if we win again, I might be a bit more connected with my inner emotions. I will know what I'm actually feeling. So, because the first time it was all over the place, I had no idea what kind of feelings that were. I actually can't. Like, try imagining a new color. That's the emotion I actually felt.
What?
If you stress too much about the winning, you won't win. That's just how we feel. So we just try to play and enjoy ourselves.
Of course, we want to do well. Like we want to win. We go there because we really want to win. At the end of the day, but if we put expectations on ourselves, maybe it's gonna hurt us more than anything.
I actually feel like I want to win this one more than the other one.
Why?
Because it feels like defending our title could be something really cool. I never had any title to defend, so this is the first one. And I feel like...
Why are you holding my hand?
Because it's a mic.
Alright, just go.
And I feel like defending our title would be such an accomplishment that I will remember for the rest of my life.
I'm back to you guys.
Fantastic stuff. What's not to like about them? Defending champions, all-round good guys as well. I think, though, my job is safe for now with that mic control. Someone who is very good with their mic, however, is Mrs. Casey, who is out amongst the fans, I believe. What are you up to right now, Casey?
I have met some people for whom this is their very first TI. You guys excited? Yeah! Tell everyone where you're from.
We're from Montreal.
Montreal?
Yeah.
And what do you think so far?
Really nice. It's a really great experience. And I really like this first game with the double deny from Abaddon. It was epic.
I understand, though, that you're all rooting for different teams. Is this going to break your friendship?
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate your honesty. All right, you're rooting for who?
I'm rooting for Fnatic.
OG.
I'm for Liquid, yeah.
Yeah, OG. EG.
Oh, snap. You said you would sing with me.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, of course.
And dance? Okay.
Yeah! I like it like that.
That was way better than I thought it was going to be. See, this is the best part of TI. Even for those of you watching at home, there are so many people who are experiencing it for the first time. So we like your enthusiasm, right, everyone? Come on. Back to you, Paul.
All right, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Keep finding fun people. It's good stuff. Right then, we're going to get back to some serious stuff in a minute. Just waiting for the players to come back out onto the main stage here at TI gives us an opportunity to look forward to that second game. Optic have got a bit of work to do here.
Yeah, I think overall adjustments. Parker actually brought it up to us in the backstage. He's looking and he was like, wow, they didn't really draft your traditional 5 support. Right? So I think that's probably one of the things I'd want to look forward, and just overall more team fight, more synergy with their draft. It felt a little bit strange from what I've seen from Optic in the last
Are you
few
surprised by that, God? Do you not feel like they found what worked for them by now?
I think they definitely have an idea, and they came into this with a draft in mind that was going to work for them and cause Liquid some problems. Particularly, Abaddon is a 5, not saying you normally verse. So, yeah, clear idea. The problem was the X Factor, the 10th pick, the miracle pick. And when it comes to the draft between the two teams, it doesn't matter what happens in those side lanes when you have an Alchemist mid. 9 times out of 10, you win 2 side lanes, you can win the game off it, but the exception is when there's something like an Alchemist there.
Teams heading back to their booths. Right now we'll give them a few more minutes to settle in and get ready for game number 2, a game which Optic Gaming have to win now if they want to take this to a 3rd game and stay alive in the upper bracket. Of course, Liquid looking to make sure they make their way through to the semi-finals. No mistakes this year, Black. That's what a lot of Liquid fans have been saying. We don't want any mistakes. We don't want to underestimate anyone. We don't want to fall into that lower bracket and have to go all the way back through again for a 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, I mean, overconfidence is what kills champions, and I mean, you just saw the player interview or this piece, and they seem completely relaxed. And I mean, they're confident, but they're definitely not overconfident. They're taking everyone seriously, and I mean, you can tell just by how they're acting.
Yeah, I mean, you hang out with GH, he's kind of infectious like that, isn't he? I mean, he brings the best out of Miracles. They're having a lot of fun on that boat.
He is in so many ways the perfect teammate. It's just crazy how good he is for Liquid, how good he can be for any professional Dota team out there. He's just a fantastic guy.
Yeah. I remember when they first, we had a couple tournaments, I think it was with Boba, right? When they were playing with him before they grabbed GH. And I would see the team talking and everything, and they were kind of quiet guys, some kind of shyness coming out. Then we did the DreamHack tournament, and they come up, they win the tournament, and they come both of them on the panel together, and I was like, these two just seem like kind of this brotherly relationship.
They have definitely broed, haven't they? They've definitely got a bromance going on there. That's
it was adorable. It was really good.
If Dota doesn't work out for them, they've got a future making like a comedy show thing. Yeah, I want to see a Miracle and GH comedy show.
I would totally tune into that. That'd be brilliant. On the serious side of things, what do you want to see from Optic, though? Do you want to see them go back to what they're good at, what they showed in some of the groups? So those late 5 games that we talked about on the final day of their groups, they looked like they'd figured the meta out. They'd figured out what was good for them. They didn't care what the other team picked. They were going to pick what they needed to pick.
It kind of feels like they kind of shot themselves in the foot last game with the draft. It's not a very conventional draft. It's probably something they played before, but have they showed us in the tournament anything like this? No, right?
No, I mean, there's only been one Abaddon pick in the entire tournament before that.
I mean, they usually have a very hard 5, right, for Peter?
Yeah.
And this was the first time they didn't, and it looked quite it didn't really look as structured as it used to, I think. So that's, I think, the biggest problem they've had this game. They just need to go back to what they're really good at, and then they will take the fight for Liquid.
I mean, talk about PPD, it's famous for his Bane, 128 games on Bane professionally, 4 in the group stage already. That seemed to be kind of his staple. He'll go back to that when we need it. It's kind of good for everything. It doesn't really affect the draft too much. Just something he can sit on and dictate the play of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a great adjustment. Just getting Peter on that harder 5, harder just full support hero that isn't a melee hero, because that also makes it a little harder. Unless it's Tree. I think Tree might be the exclusion. Or Undying. But also, I think 33 is the X factor, because sure, he's an outstanding player, but putting him on a DK, I want to see him playing something
else. That stunts him? It doesn't allow him to go out and be expressive and do the things, dictate the play that they need?
I feel it's just like I've seen him play that type of hero before, but I like seeing him on something that can really just take the space if he needs to, and or be the space maker. That hero's more so just, all right, I'm going to group up with my team and make some stuff happen, rather than like an Enigma who's just going to dominate and make some flashy plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because his hero picks so far, Gods, they've been a bit weird. Nature's Prophet 3 times, 3 on Ursa, 2 on Mirana, 2 on Enigma, and then obviously now 2 on Dragon Knight as well. That's not what we're used to from him, is it?
Yeah, a lot of his old cheesier picks, as people would say, kind of fallen out, like the Visage, the Lycan. I actually think Lycan's a hero they should consider in Game 2, because for me, I think Optic are a bit outclassed. Liquid, returning TI champions, they've got more experience to me. They're just a bit higher skilled in certain roles, and I think if you want to beat them, you have to outdraft them. You have to use something to catch them by surprise, which is what they're trying to do in Game 1. The problem is sometimes you go for those crazy drafts, it backfires, you have this Abaddon, it doesn't work out. They need to try that again. They need to pick out like a first 2 Brood. They need to do something, a Lycan draft. I don't think they can beat Liquid playing a straight-up game.
Black, agree, disagree?
I mean, I told you I'm the certified Liquid fanboy, so I don't think...
Well, you're a certified Liquid fanboy and a certified Lich fanboy. We've already established that today.
I always tell you, man, Lich anti-mage middle is...
You had to get the AM in there somehow. This was always going to come back to farming, wasn't it?
Anytime I hear this man talk about Lich, it's not about Lich. He's like, you know now, because anti-mage got a turn rate buff, you can actually get an extra attack. And I'm like, how does he always just bring it back to anti-mage?
The legend that is the AM player in the team as well. Gods, what do you want to see in this second draft from Optic?
Yeah, something cheesier.
Maybe a
Lycan
Brood.
33. I think the Lycan is being underpicked here. If you can get like a 4th, 5th pick Lycan, we saw a few of these teams in one of the elimination matches. Serenity busted out, so I would love to see something like that. Other than that, pick strong lanes and just try and outplay Liquid.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen.
10 seconds remaining. Optic Gaming's turn to bat.
Team Liquid versus Optic Gaming. Game 2.
Draft number 2 as well is upon us. What can Optic serve up in game number 2? They do need to win this one, of course. As a reminder for you at home, it is a best of 3. Liquid 1 game away from making the semi-finals of the upper bracket and guaranteeing themselves a top 6 finish. Long way to go for them still, however, and we will get into this draft momentarily.
I wonder what adjustments will come out from the first pick too, right? Because the IO is given up. Do they change that around? Or do they just go for prioritizing banning that one?
In some ways, I wonder if Liquid's even happy keeping that second pick so they can have the last pick of the draft. It didn't seem like they were two-phased giving Optic first pick. They did ban Ench for the first time in the tournament, but I think that's just them saying, hey, Ench is actually probably one of the most OP heroes in Dota right now.
I saw... I think this was in like the first 2 days of the group stages, but I remember we were doing Vici Storm and we're like looking at all the games and we're like, Vici Storm, they were second pick every single game that they won. Their first 5 games in a row that they won, they were second pick, and then the first game right away when they lost, they were actually first pick. So I think the second pick really does put a bit of a factor into it.
I mean, it suits a team like that, right? Because of the resolution. It's like also like 10th pick monster.
Yeah.
You have this miracle, this 10th pick monster. If you have these 10th pick monsters in your team, it really makes sense to get the second pick if you're not really scared of anything.
Yeah. We spoke about the bench, obviously, at the very beginning of the day. It is a very popular pick for both teams, and Liquid in particular. Bench has been picked 5 times by GH, 4 by Kuro in their 16 games of the group stages, so they can mix this up a little bit.
It is an insane hero actually now. Like, not only can you save your core, you can also amplify his damage output, and whenever your farmed core dies, he actually hits the hero for what, 5 seconds? 6 seconds?
It's a long time, and it gives vision too, and it's very, very... It's super fast, a little illusion that chases you. It's
how much damage does it deal? 100%?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's going to be a 33 early pick.
33 profit, most likely. Zai Tiny, I would guess.
They've played it 3 different ways. They've also played CC, and C has also played it as well.
There it is. Wow,
there's the Brood. Yeah, I mean, we talked about, are we going to get early cheese?
A Brood into a Tiny is quite brave, though.
Yeah, but I think it's also into the Nature's Prophet as well. Yeah, right? Like Brood versus Furion, or versus Nature's Prophet is really tough versus for the Furion.
And Brood Venge together is really good.
Yeah.
PPD's seen that coming, surely.
But I'd probably consider it. I think this is one way you can play when you're first pick, rather than play around that 10th pick of the draft where you win the game with that. Your second pick, you can pick a hero like Brood and then ban out the counters. And then it's a lot easier to kind of get this really strong pick early on, and it doesn't get banned out.
And then you're not getting telegraphed either with the bans, because obviously I think there are some specific bans when you ban them. It's kind of the other thing goes, oh, they want the Brood last pick, we'll just ban it last.
Has Liquid put it in the safe lane at all, or has it just been ran mid by Matu? Just mid, right?
I'm sure they can, but I think it was just mid this tournament, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. They've played it 4 times, all with Matumbaman.
On mid lane, right?
On mid lane, though.
Yes.
I think so, yeah. So I think one of the heroes...
I didn't see all of his games, but I believe so.
But it's so hard to shut down mid brute, though. Like, even if you counter him, he will just out-farm you.
I noticed a few that were, at least in the group stages, that I thought were a little closer, but I remembered back to Summit where I saw the Monkey King versus the Brood. I think that's one matchup of his in the mid lane that's dominant, and then the Kunkka. The Kunkka is actually insane versus the Brood.
Have you, we saw a lot of Timber as well in the past.
I mean, Timber's just a...
I know it's a little bit out of the meta right now, isn't it? But it does provide some of the tools, doesn't it?
It's hard because the Brood just avoids you. Like, he'll farm behind your tower, he farms your Ancients. Ancients still give a lot of gold, unlike the rest of the neuts, so that's kind of where Brood's big edge is.
And you get to a point where, like, Brood will just farm to the late game, and then you have a Timber in late game versus this heavy-hitting Brood that doesn't really care so much anymore.
Ban out the partner, instantly take up the Necrophos. Of course, Liquid loves to play with offlane partner on mind control. So a very good ban there. Huh. I mean, it's not super strong against either of the two heroes they have right now, because a lot of the Brutes actually like go into like a lot of survivability now.
Yeah, Necro's been super popular here. Combined 135 picks and bans on this hero during this event. 91% of all games have featured Necro in some form.
What about his win rate though?
His win rate is 47.5 off 40 games, which isn't great, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah. It's one of those series that like every team's been picking and playing, like even some of the weaker teams of the tournament. So sounds about right.
I wonder if Liquid's looking at something like the Bat Rider here, because it's amazing versus Necro and it's so good versus Nature's Prophet in the overall grand scheme of the game.
So is Earth Spirit.
So is Earth Spirit.
Instant silence, that stun.
Yeah,
very good to pressure the Necrophos.
Yep.
On the Prophet too.
As well.
It's like also a ganking here. When you have this Brute mid, if you can get a rotation when you get that big Spiraler coming up, you get just get free kills.
Yeah, free kill and free tower probably too.
Yeah.
I'm still really liking. I was thinking Nyx Assassin or Earth Spirit there for GH, and then I think the Bat Rider still for the offlaner could be really strong for them though.
For Optic, I think they should or kind of have to put Tiny middle now. He's not really afraid of the Brute at all, and you can't really rotate on him with an Earth Spirit either. So I think the Tiny mid should be quite locked until they, unless they want to counter pick it with another hero.
What do you think about them saving their supports then for the last 2 picks? That's a little bit change.
That is very interesting indeed, yeah. I mean, we have seen support profit.
Yeah, support profit
that's
possible.
To like secure your safe lane or even off lane.
Sure.
I also feel like
Side played that though?
These 3 cores just don't really like look that scary.
Makes no sense, right?
Yeah, it almost feels like one of them needs to be a support.
Yeah.
Team Liquid's turn
Crystal Maiden.
to Crystal Maiden.
And that's the thing. Optic at this last pick of the draft. They don't want to lock into picking their 3 cores and saving supports for their 2 last picks. Like you're just not utilizing second pick well if that's the case.
CM's one of those that has returned. We thought it might. It was there's a lot of people talking about this, wasn't there, before the group stage started? Pondering whether mana is it going to be important. Well, Crystal Maiden fitting with that. How does it fit around the draft? Is it worth still picking? It's definitely proven the case, isn't
5 seconds
Yep.
remaining.
I think just the popularity of some of these others have overshadowed the Crystal Maiden. It's just like these Vans Maranas, Wraith Kings, and then we took down a few little, down a little bit more. Then we have the CM still picked behind it with a decent win rate.
Still 47 picks with 51.06 win rate, so yeah, pretty decent.
There were a lot of memes about her, right? It's just like a global clarity potion.
Yeah.
But right now, if you max at Nova early, your lane pressure is actually insane.
You're the range creep secure, and you're the global clarity.
Exactly. Now you're 2 things. How much damage is Nova level 1? 100? 130?
130.
130,
yeah. It matches the mana now, because they changed that one back after Summit.
Yeah, that is fierce. So they're probably not going to pick Miracle Sealer last, because there's honestly no difference when they pick it 4th or 5th, if your first pick. So but what could be a good Miracle Hero here? I personally like Invoker, if they want to go down that.
We may
but it's like a mid-brood probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the brood mid.
Yeah.
Still Bloodseeker in the pool. That's being picked quite a lot against the Necrophos.
Phantom Lancer potentially.
Yeah, that's actually been one of the sleeper heroes here. 26 picks and a 61.54% win rate.
Because usually he gets picked quite late,
and
then the game is very good for him.
Optic Gaming.
They do go for the bat.
I've seen them do the Bat versus the Necro so many times.
It's really good.
It's just amazing. And then with the Earth Spirit thrown on top, you have such good kill threat on the laning phase. So now it's like Liquid's they're looking to hunt for this lane. So you're probably going to see them scout very early on just to get this Batrider versus Necro matchup. And the beauty also is that he might also be versus a Nature's Prophet. So it's like a double benefit for him.
Either way, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Even if they put both Necro and Prophet as cores, he will just demolish both lanes.
Yeah, he's very happy about that.
You definitely have to go away from the Prophet core now, I think. There's way too many good heroes against him right now. Get the position for Prophet. Does Sai play that? Has he played it? I don't know. Probably has.
I'm thinking back to when it was at the DAC era, when we saw the rise of the Nature's Prophet. I don't know if he played it, though.
Well, he can definitely do it. He played a lot of offlane Prophet back in this time.
Yeah,
so.
if you really want, you can just play 4-position CM and put the Prophet as a 5 as well.
It also works, yeah.
It's kind of a similar concept, just depending where you want the heroes to land.
Always love myself some BKB freezing field fights.
Versus Venge and Bat, kind of tough, though.
And then you get swapped and you're like, oh no.
Team Liquid.
So Optic thing.
Oh, they might to carry Ricky.
Just in case.
It's also, I mean, versus Necro.
It's very good.
Necro is all about getting your Ghost Shard out. If you're silenced this early, like, it actually could be pretty scary with the Venge as well. Like, the Venge is what can enable that Ricky to really just pop off. That's
yeah, we've seen 3 Rickies so far, only 1 win during the group stage.
Honestly, Liquid has
10
a lot of heroes to choose from.
They've got a good mix in their draft. Like, they've got Teamfight, they've got Magical, Physical. While I look at Optic, I feel like they really lack Physical right now between the heroes. It's mostly Magical.
Yeah, the only thing they have is like a tiny for Physical. And
yeah,
that's not a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
What they could be looking for. Their draft is so well rounded already.
It is.
Probably just a strong laner that doesn't suffer too much from a Prophet tiny dual lane potentially.
I was thinking something maybe like a... I don't want to throw it out, but I was going to say something like a Sven, because...
Sven is really good. Level 15 talent, you can dispel the Ghost Shroud as well.
Right, what are they looking for?
Okay.
So we think the...
Safer.
Yeah.
And it's a PL. Okay.
Phantom Lancer.
So that's the lane that they want to get the PL versus the Batrider.
Right. If PL gets farmed, they're going to win this game. Like, late game, they have nothing against the PL. Yeah. Unless they jump in first, which is incredibly difficult to do with
All right, boys, it's that time. One more time. 60 seconds of stats. Miracle delivered big time for Liquid in that last game. That 12-minute, 20-second Radiance was in the top 20 all-time in over 1,000 pickups in pro Dota 2 LAN play. In this game, Optic has to control that early game. Necrophos in this tournament, 15-10 record in games that end before 40 minutes, only 5-12 in games that go late. But there are two sides to every story, and that Matumbaman Brood is going to be the problem throughout. He is 7-1 on that hero in TI LAN play. Nobody else has more than 3 wins. Guys, the backs are against the wall for the North American team in the upper bracket. Paul, what do you think?
Thank you very much. Yes, good stuff. I'm glad he managed to elaborate in that. Time to head over to our commentary duo for game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. It's Synderen and Toby 1.
Well, what a game. Cinder and we were sitting here during the drafting phase, and you were like, we're going to have, we're going to have Broodmother as the second pickup, and you were nailing every single one. You knew what Liquid were going to do.
It's a slight exaggeration.
Okay, you knew 3 out of 5 as they were coming up, but Liquid looked like they were almost predictable. Optic, like, are they in a good spot? Like, can they utilize this draft to force us into a game 3?
So what I think happened here is that Liquid are drafting a specific pattern that we saw during the groups, and they get these really good core matchups for their Batrider with the Earth Spirit that we've also seen them play. And I'm just looking at, okay, what can Optic actually do in this position? They need a hero that can lane against that Bat. They need a hero that's also good against Brood. So that last pick, Phantom Lancer, seems like a good choice, but it's also decent against the Ursa. I'm kind of with the panel on this, that if it goes late, the Phantom Lancer as well as Necro will do great, but can they get there? You've seen the Brood of Matumbaman just destroy this mid-game timings of enemy teams, so playing slow against Brood doesn't have the best track record exactly against this team.
It really doesn't, because the Broodmother just dominates the mid lane totally, and in the current meta where it's this 2-1-2, bringing someone in to help out the mid lane normally means you're going to lose one of your side lanes, and then you've got 2 heroes to worry about, and then you still can't instantly deal with the Broodmother. They don't have great scouting methods for them. They can deal with what Brood throws at them, but beyond that, more questions start to be asked. But the Team Liquid, If they win this game, they're into top 6 for TIA.
Yep.
That's guaranteed position. And that's the big advantage as well, being in this quarterfinal in the winners bracket. Top 6 at TI, you're already very satisfied. Obviously, Liquid, they won't be satisfied until they've got the whole win. And a good start will be killing off Pycat.
Yeah, this is maybe all let's see.
CH starts. Rolling bottle will connect. Kuro's got the magic missile. Doppelganger already. Pycat, which one's the real one? They can't work it out. They magic missile and attack the wrong one. He's just auto running to the left.
Nice bait.
Oh, it's just like, we're going to start this way with something every single time. Such a simple mind.
That's cool. Yeah, I was gonna make a final comment on it. We don't really get to see it just yet, but this Ursa versus Phantom Lanes matchup is one we've seen a couple of times during the groups, I would say. And Liquid picking the Ursa in the position that they did, I think they were anticipating this Lancer pick. I think they were expecting that this would happen, and they're willing to take the risk. In my mind, Ursa is actually a decent hero against Phantom Lancer at specific timings in the game, just because Fury Swipes, once you get it on the real PO, he doppelgangers, it sticks. You can follow him very easily and bring him down with this heavy chase that they have from Earth Spirit and Bat Rider, and you can even swap him back in with the bench. So I think it makes a lot of sense. However, later on, Lancer is a problem a lot of the time for this Ursa hero.
Yeah, because then there's just so many of them, they're going to be burning off the mana if he decides to get a Fuser Blade. Whole bunch of problems for him. Top lane, I think there's going to be a lot of problems for Optic Gaming. It's already the aggression of Kuro. Rolling boulder is actually blocked by Zai. He's doing a lot of damage to GH. PPD isn't much more to give apart from his life. The Nova does connect, but GH already beginning his sound. They've taken so much damage. Yeah, they done first blood. If they can get more, the Earth Shock comes in from Miracle. Remember, he went that level 1, but 33 death balls, chasing him into the tree line. They need a little bit more damage, a little bit more reveal. The attack keeps the armor low from Zai, and with the Nova, the slow down Miracle, find the kill. There's still a pesky Earth Spirit behind the lines. And thanks to this being 1 minute into the game, the respawns are quick. You know they're going to just open up again.
And what we have here is one of the situations that we haven't had very much during this tournament. It's actually a 3-1-1 setup for both teams. Currently, the Bat Rider playing a 1-on-1 against the Phantom Lancer. Optic did have to pay a decent amount of experience to bring down the Phantom Lancer to this bottom lane, but they do end up getting the lane matchup that they want. They don't want Ursa against that Lancer, and they definitely do want their Lancer against the Bat Rider. Necropos against Bat Rider, unplayable lane.
GH has already TP'd down towards bottom lane, so yeah, PL, not what he wants to have. He'll back up for now, away from the ES. Thanks to the Dire Observer Ward that was already down from Optic, they're already very well aware of this rotation. That's when you got the flexibility of a hero like Nature's Prophet. Could bounce anywhere across the map. This Nature's Prophet can just change the balance of the lanes very quickly without having to rotate very early on. So now it's Miracle, who's not going to get much out of the lane. 1 CS in 2 minutes is the opposite of his game 1.
And Ursa's not really the greatest combat hero. If you have an atrocious laning stage, it takes a decent amount of time to catch up in that jungle position. So we'll see how it goes for him so far. Like you said, Optic have a pretty good grip on this top lane. I think this matchup it's weird, right? The Ursa against Necropos. Ghost Shroud is amazing against Ursa, but at the same time, Ursa one of the hardest burst heroes. So if you have Ghost Shroud on cooldown or you're stunned, Ursa can make quick work of you, but obviously Vengeful, they have no kill potential up here right now.
GH is in trouble. He'll rolling boulder up, PPD. As all great CMs do, goes Frost Nova as well as the Arcane Aura, so Crystal Nova, sorry, then the Arcane Aura. So no Frostbite to stun him up. But at least makes GH burn his consumable. He's got 3 stick charges and a Clarity to work with.
The thing I talked about last game with this Liquid team that they have...
the trouble for Zai. Koron Miracle opening up for him. Zai beginning to TP and TP out!
Bottom lane 2.
Yep, they're going out. Multiple targets. Pycat. So Prophet escapes. Pycat will not. PPD now under the Firefly with Sticky Napalm on him. He's got an over-off cooldown now, so wants to turn around at least dish out something. As he'll salve up.
This is going to be one of those games that you see where if you have this view on Liquid that, they just set up Miracle for the perfect game and he carries every game, that's not how this team necessarily works in their games. This time around, they have way more emphasis on getting Matumba Man on his Broodmother off to a good start, and Mind Control will be doing a lot of work. Bottom lane again, Firefly's up.
They really just want to keep going every time the fire's there. Great kick from GH buying more time. PPD with a 3 sticky napalm charges on him, but Pycat, maybe he can get a revenge, and he will onto Mind Control.
That's a very important kill.
314 gold for Pycat, and obviously it's a support kill going the other way.
Yep. a lot of experience too. Mind control in this situation was level 4, so Pycat is kind of evening out the lane now as far as experience goes. On the gold, still a slight disadvantage, but he has a wave in his tower, so it's going to even out. Just this one exchange doing a lot for Optic in that bottom lane.
We haven't even really looked. Okay, we can look towards top lane as this is just a simple initiation go throughout as well as the bump, but that's why you've got that Earth Shock slow down 33. One more fist pump would do it, but 33, the movement speed with the dead pulse. Miracle's real low, but he has the damage required to get the kill. Zai doesn't have the vision, so Miracle can just south back up again. While that was happening on bottom lane, there was another kill onto PPD. Mind Control and GH copying a lot of damage, but they're there for the 5-minute bounty runes.
Crystal Maiden is a very slow hero. 277 move speed. PPD is nowhere near getting boots. So this Bat Rider Earth Spirit, just hyper aggression, is difficult for the Crystal Maiden to deal with. Is this 4 runes?
It's 4 bounty runes.
Oh, that's bad news for Optic.
This is some really good money in for Team Liquid, and it's actually repaired a little bit of the damage in the network between CCNC and Matumbaman. Because CCNC's been having a really great mid lane. Yeah, the CS looks a little bit better for the Broodmother, but CCNC's got majority of these as lane creeps, as well as a couple of extra spiders.
We've seen Matumbaman play this lane, I think, twice before this tournament, however, and if he plays against this Tiny, he's willing to lose a little bit. That's how the lane goes. He's just farming jungle and getting the job done later.
A rolling boulder going in onto the bottom lane. Pycat was able to doppelganger dodge it, so Mind Control and GH will not get the initiation they want. And Optic's been really posturing on the top, looking to bring down Miracle. He's got 9 stick charges available. It was Zai looking for the range harassment onto him to at least put him in some level of peril that Necro can make the most of. Something else we should probably be a little bit more scared of too is when that scythe is up for Necro.
PPD as well.
Great trap on bottom. They came in with a Sprout. Firefly from Mind Control had to be used to try and body block it up with the Treant. Won't happen. Pycat jumps in deeper. He's still got a Lance as well as Doppelganger available. Lost vision for half a second. So Mind Control does return back to his tier 1 tower.
That is a rotation from Optic that they gain nothing out of, really. And it puts Necro in this awkward position where he has to play a bit safer now. He can actually die up here now that Liquid know. Oh, they found Peter.
PPD.
Oh, Peter.
Well, this is a chance for them afterward, especially when GH can land that 3-man kick. Mind Control has the fire right on top of him. They're going to kill up GH in return, but he actually gets the silence off. Doppelganger out. Mind Control had to slow him down. Zai already had 3 sticky napalm charges on him. PPD will arrive. He's got Frostbite available, but he just can't close the distance. Pycat needs to slow down Mind Control with the lance to then bring PPD closer, but even then it's 276 versus 277 movement speed. Now you got Nova, but Mind Control's got the distance and the 1 charges to survive.
And GH brings in the Tranquils and refills the bottle. So it looked like, okay, at least they got some good pressure out. Nope, PPD's not going to be expecting this.
Rolling boulder back in again. PPD was at least able to dodge the rolling boulder in, but it's just going from bad to worse for him. He's 0 now for 5. Again, being the majority of Liquid's kills.
It's a really hard game for Maiden, to be fair, in this early game when you get this laning. Phantom Lancer is good against Bat Rider, but this exchange of just the supports being in the lane, Maiden is food for this dual lane.
Zai looking to try and engage. 33 is really close to level 6, but he's too far off. He needs more creeps to die. So now the attack comes in from Miracle. Ghost Shroud still available, but he's already burned his stick charges and doesn't have Dead Pulse up just yet. So Kuro keeps the vision up as, Miracle wants to salva, get back into the fight, but level 6 is there, but there's no mana for the Reaper's side. Prophet has to come back in again. Miracle just can't try and getting away from these Treants, but then the stun is there from Kuro. Zai's arriving. Sprout, can he actually lock up Kuro? The distance decides this up. Kuro won't die to this. Maybe the last attack. It is there from 33. The regeneration gets to arrive. That's why he pops up the Ghost Ride. And Miracle losing armor, but that burst damage. Ooh, almost bringing down Zai, but it's a big kill for 33. 2 of them, in fact.
Such a close game. Maiden Aura. That's that global clarity. It actually made the difference. 33 got his Reaper in time.
Oh, bottom lane. Hey, at least Maiden can stay alive for a little bit longer. He's okay.
He's fine this time.
There's too much harassment actually coming in to Mind Control when he goes in this deep now. Should have also flagged that mid lane. Tier 1 tower was brought down by CCNC. This is closing up the area that Matumbaman has to play in. Obviously, you can still move very fast inside of the webs.
This is what you want to do if you're playing against Brood. If you can't hunt Brood and kill it, at least put pressure on the tower constantly so you get something out of it. Either Brood has to go back and defend, which costs farm, or you just get that free map control. And very nice.
CNC's coming for him.
He's not going to find him here. It looks like he's waiting for it, but Matumba.
GH. They're going again on bottom lane. Pykat's going to use his doppelganger, just trying to get away. It's a good stack, and that's why Mind Control has that Firefly down with the sticky napalm level 4. Just try and burn through it. PPD will probably try and time this Nova right if he can catch GH out in the tree line. CCNC even comes in looking for this, and Zai TP's in, but he doesn't get the sprout onto Mind Control.
Didn't get the right angle on the... I think this is not where he wanted to teleport in. He teleported in a bit of an awkward spot and had to try to blind cast the Sprout. Not having boots on the Nature's Prophet either. This lineup is actually just moving pretty slowly across the board. Nobody has good move speed in their team.
Nice toss in from CCNC. He actually threw his tree, and I think got like 10 CS of spiders with one swing. Really trying to make sure that the Tupperman doesn't have a free time. They've even got the Observe Ward blocking up the camp.
Alright, this time around Optic will get bounty rings, so that's good news. It's like an even trade-off. 2 for 2.
Yeah, bottom lane though, Mind Control's looking for the kill. Flash, you have Lasso up and running. PL needs to be able to doppelganger away. Rolling Boulder, they kept the control going so long, and PPD, mercy, mercy, mercy. The Crystal Maiden is now 0-6. And life is very hard for her, but it's the diminishing returns. There has to be diminishing returns eventually on this. Maybe with the Haster and CCNC can work with Zai. They have the Observer Ward down. They're looking for the Brood. But Matumba's in pretty deep.
He's playing this very well. Has a good read on what's going on.
Rolling Boulder in. They're looking for a double. Kick is going to not be there. They turn on the magnetizer set. Oh, the kick is still there. CCNC can't escape from this. Toss was still on cooldown. Sakura swapping Zai back into the fight. And then the perfect body block and control. The Tubberman's been keeping up, but now he's ahead. Number 1 of the net worth with those 2 kills.
I've talked about this during the group stage as a similar, like, a concept that you see some teams play better than others. I think Liquid's one of the absolute best at this, is playing around your strong heroes. They take advantage of... You see, they realize, okay, Miracle's not in the best position in this game. We're going to help him a bit, and then we will put so much pressure on the rest of the map that Miracle gets to be a force in this game. He didn't really truly have to play comeback just because of how much they played around Mind Control and now around the Brood of Matumba.
Pycat looking for a GH. It's just so damn good. Mind Control. His Firefly will wear off. They're summon up the trees. They want to go in deep. GH wild. Rolling Boulder this time. Gets him into safety at least. But his kicks have been totally on point.
And look, it just seems so logical, right, when you look at it. We have this strong hero that can do something right now. We should take advantage of this, play to that hero's strengths, so we get fights. And in turn, if we do it properly, it relieves pressure on the other lanes. And that's basically what's given Miracle this he's almost back to 3rd net worth in this game.
Nice Sprout reveal on bottom Mind Control. With the fortification of the Dire Creeps, it keeps the tier 1 tower alive in middle, which is what Matubba's trying to take at the moment. But allowing them a little bit more pressure onto the tier 1 tower with the rotation of CCNC, you kind of hope they would get more out of this.
Yep.
But it doesn't happen for an Optic fan. Pycat just TP's back into farm. He is going to go that Diffuser Blade after the Treads Aquila.
This Vanguard on Mind Control is actually really good this game.
Are scanning.
When you're snowballing this hard from the laning stage, you just look at, okay, how can I be the biggest pestilence in fights that they can't deal with? Largely he can ignore Trance, largely he can ignore the PL illusions, and just this early on, they are not killing him without a Reaper, I think. And Necrophos doesn't want to go there. So, can feel very confident. I'm curious to see if Mind Control goes for a dagger now, or if he even goes just a full-on combat build with Vanguard and Pipe, and just runs into them and fights. And it's like, try to kill me. I have a swap behind me.
You can get the Blink Dagger later if they really require it. That's what will allow him to at least catch up to Zai. And Zai's a threat, but a threat you can see coming from a very long way away. And Mind Control maybe thinks about the fight. The Nova will scare him off. And again, Matumba attacks in towards the mid. Pycat was there, looking for a denial. Has to doppelganger himself away. Matumba already burned off the Insatiable Hunger. 33 TPs over. Kuro's nearby. But they don't have extra support. Zai is currently farming up inside the Radiant jungle.
It might not look that big, but this TP from 33 is actually going to matter quite a lot. If he gets spotted on a ward, I think they saw him in the river, so now they know he's crossing toward bottom. And this is Miracle's cue to just play aggressive top. Knows there's no Necrophos here. He TP'd mid. There's no other way he could have got here in time, so you just redistribute your resources. Sure, you guys can have the bottom tower. In some way, you kind of argue they over-rotated. They brought 4 heroes down here.
Great ops. My Control instantly has his smoke being broken, and Optic do want to try and fight. As you said, like they have their own Observer Ward. So 33 will walk under it. The T1 tower was lost on bottom. CCNC has Blink Dagger ready to initiate. But he's not finding his target, so they instead add pressure onto bottom lane. Mop up the creep wave, push the tier 2 tower a little bit. But Liquid are happy with this. Straight Roshan trade-off. Optic Gaming are nearby, but they cannot contest this. They do not have the power.
Brood and Ursa is such an exceptional Roshan combo. Very easy. They put it on Matumba, man. This Brood is getting ready to rock and roll. They know he's the richest hero in the game. And arguably a better hero to have Aegis on than Ursa. Usually Ursa with Aegis, it can be a little bit tricky, like which life do you enrage? It's similar to when you have BKB. Do BKB your first or second life?
Bottom lane attacks coming in. They need to get that stun control and then follow up with a Reaper's Snipe. The Mind Control hasn't taken enough damage just yet. He's so damn tanky with the one charges too. They'll get the lasso out, so Tiny just has to remain for a moment and they swap inside. No escape for him. He's not even beginning his TP. He just remains stationary. And Optic lose too. They do not claim that bottom tower, and they don't even in any way threaten the Aegis.
Oh, looks like the Aegis going to threaten that. Instead, found the wrong one. Good move again by Paika. If the right one gets found there, he actually dies. Matumba can easily solo this Phantom Lancer after Doppelganger has been expended.
Paika still needs to get stronger.
Exactly. We were looking at this game and we're looking at, okay, Optic, you need to get this Phantom Lancer to a strong state in the late game and not lose full control of the map on the way there. And Liquid are just dominating them. Again, it's a huge advantage. And especially Lancer not doing better than this in lane hurts, because you, ideally at this point, you want to have this diffusal completed. So he's like 1,000 to 2,000 gold behind par for the course, I would say. And
they're going up the top. Miracle jumps in, goes up the side. The Sprout pushes Miracle. Well, pushes him away and leaves Miracle contained. But so easy to cut out, always with Quelling Blade in hand.
And look at Mind Control's item build. How is anyone going to die when this Batrider has Crimson Pipe minute 20?
Oh, I know how everyone can die, but they're all Optic players.
Yeah.
Cat initiated on. CCN3 throws the tree in, and he doesn't actually blink to go for the Avalanche Toss. In fact, he's diffusal up. Matumba turns around for the fight, so now the Avalanche Toss will arrive, but Necro has to help defend. The Death Pulse can chase the spiders.
And that's all Matumba wanted. Diving for that kill will take forever. He was hoping to get a response out of a hero, and he forces the TP. That's good enough.
Oh, here comes CCNC. Avalanche and Toss. They'll combo together nicely to get the kill on
Kill,
yeah, it's problematic. Your Scepter up. It's his defensive one.
Overwhelmed. Again, GH combining with Matumba. GH has been in 15 kills in 17 minutes on his Quick Spray. Just really excellent read on the map, like where he can have the biggest impact. He plays with the Batrider for a long time. They trash that lane. He's like, okay, that's good enough. Let's go and play with Matumba, man, who just got the Fusel. They get these kills mid. It's just very systematic, good play, really.
Yeah.
There's not much else to say. They're doing all the right things.
Do they take out all the remaining outer towers? Like, do they continue to look for fights before they go high ground?
I think they grab the top tier 2 at least. These bottom towers are pretty annoying to get to. The distance from the bottom tier 2 of their own to that tower, it's a very long reach. When you've taken Roshan, it's a better play because then the enemy team can't really trade off by going for Rosh while you're pushing these bottom towers really far away. But they don't really have that much value right now. I think they'd rather take the top tower and then go there, if anything. Or if they're feeling confident, they could look to even high ground from the top area.
It's a smoke game. They're coming after Miracle on top lane. Pycat will need to slow him down. But the ping is already on the way. So Kura's pinging it out. They have a lot of vision around that bottom Dire Shrine. That's why Matumba is just farming that area. So the ping came in. Vision closed. The Nova. It does not click Miracle.
Sixth sense there for Miracle. When you go for smokes like these, every second matters because it becomes more and more apparent what Optic are doing. Brood is covering the right side of the map with an Observer Ward placed by Kuro. The mid lane is empty, and nobody's at the bottom tower. So, where could Optic possibly be? I think Miracle there. I thought he was going to back earlier. He really stretched that as far as he could without getting caught. But the right read, and they will be going for the bottom tower after all. So now that they've forced the Optic team to go top to Miracle, who was just pressuring this tower to, well, if you guys don't come here, I'm going to take the tower. If you do, we'll just swap to the other side of the map. And they will grab at least one here, maybe two. We'll see. Top
Three
lane.
TPs up towards the top lane. ES came into the tier 2 tower. Kuro will arrive with mind control. No Blink Dagger available, so lands from Pycat. Tries to slow him down, but he doesn't have Doppelganger. 33 can't really save him. Prophet's coming in through the rear. They'll lasso and drag Pycat down. Now he's not got Doppelganger available. The kick and silence is pretty good from GH, but there's a lot more support arriving in from Optic. GH in the tree line. They'll take anything they can, but CCNC once more. Avalanche and toss onto Miracle, but CCNC interrupted by the magic missile of Kuro. Miracle just has to enrage and TP out, and somehow GH is still running away from Pycat all the way up on the north. 33 can't find his own target. Maybe with the Yor Scepter they can bring down Kuro. Reaper Sight is still available. Finally the kill happens up on the top. Liquid heavily split, but mind control's not done yet. The flame break on the 33. He'll go Shroud and get that regeneration out. Zai finishes up the tower. Mind control still can't get closer. However, maybe when PPD is this slow, they can actually do it. He has to frostbite and run to the side. CCNC's got combination available. PPD will finally drop, and they just want to leave. The Reaper Sight on the bottom. They find the kill onto Matumba. A huge kill down for so long, and a huge amount of money in for 33.
Matumba was down here this whole fight. He didn't TP to his team. Just splitting the map, getting the bottom tier 2.
Money. Oh, okay.
No money.
He stopped to summon trees.
Oh, it's actually hard to kill this courier because it has a plate mill. That's pretty convenient, right? Doesn't hit very hard when you have a plate mill on it. Well, the Brute's damage bottom, I would say, is worth a death. He took the tier 2 and 1/3 of the tier 3. There might have been a time there for Matumba Man to back out, but what he did force was the rotation from both the PL and the Necro to come down there, and that's what secured Liquid that fight in the end. Had he escaped that without losing his life, it would have been very clean from them, but mistakes do happen.
Yep. Yeah, she have a quick look at this fight again up on top. So underneath the tier 1 tower, CCNC already forced to retreat, but they just wanted to force this so hard.
You see Miracle casting the Enrage there in anticipation of the Reaper's Scythe, but that makes 33 hesitate for a moment. His blink comes off cooldown, he gets out. Now he used they catch this Venge, but they can't Reaper him, and I don't think he wants to either. Good thing for 33 he didn't, actually. He ends up using that bottom to kill that Broodmother.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of wondered like what this fight would have been like if PL didn't go chasing after a support. Have a breather.
Why am I so greedy? That's the face of a guy saying, why am I so greedy?
He's meant to be the unbridled aggression. Optic are back into their farming. Zai with Wrath of Nature just keeps pushing out the lanes. And this is where Optic can stall things up. The fact that Nature's Prophet, he's finished up a Spirit Vessel. He can keep the side lanes going. They've got great wave clear Optic. So pushing high ground is a very risky thing for Liquid. One person goes down to Reaper's Scythe. They're dead for a very long time. If you want to commit the buyback, sure, but it's Optic who can defend quite comfortably from range.
If they hold out long enough, this Phantom Lancer will be pretty scary. So, absolutely, that is...
He's catching up on the net worth. He's almost the same as the Earth. And now they go towards the mid, but Kuro has the distance.
They didn't have enough information about the position of all the Radiant heroes to commit for that kill. And it's also a low-value kill anyway, so they don't want to risk anything to get this Venge. Liquid again with a good map read.
Is Matumba waiting for a fight? He's just sitting on top of this Ancient for the last 20-25 seconds. Puts down an Observer Ward. Zai actually did that on the other side of the trees, so Matumba shouldn't be aware of it.
Yep.
Oh. He's looking for someone to come and farm.
He's lurking. This is pretty dangerous if he just goes up the high ground here.
Comes over, goes out to CCNC, Avalanche and Toss will kill off his army with the Wrath of Nature. Matumba just turns on the Insatiable Hunger. Pycat is crazy. Underneath the shrine. He doesn't want to commit for this, but he will when there's extra support. Mind Control's got Blink and PPD. Not again, not like this. He's going to be jumped, lassoed back, and the Crystal Maiden is mauled.
This play is really similar to the Alchemist play from last game where Miracle didn't ulti or didn't have it and ran at the enemy team. It's like Matumba, this looks like such an awful position. Like it looks like he's overdiving. The whole team is behind him in a smoke, and Optic actually with a really good read to not commit for that brood kill. But see, you're just looking at the situation like this is kind of a crazy dive. Where's everybody else?
Yeah. And they're getting the trade-off in the meantime. 33 pushing out this bottom lane. He wants to get out of here. Zai will die, and 33 won't have to take the same sacrifice. But he has an Aghanim Scepter, fully completed 24 minutes in on 33.
Yes. Could be a big item. They still have the problem of getting the heroes down to half health in the first place.
Yeah.
But once they get over that step, it will get interesting. So CCNC with a Shadow Blade should be able to do that on most of the Radiant cores. and obviously Pycat with just 1 or 2 extra items. Time is ticking. Liquid are not actually gaining. Look at the goal graph. It's
plateauing.
It's been 6 minutes, and they're not really making progress. That's not necessarily a problem for now, but if they do take a bad fight, it could become problematic. This Roshan should belong to them.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what they choose to do with it, if they try to high ground or not.
And that's the big enabler, right? Like, Team Liquid need to have this Aegis and cheese so they can just go high ground, so they can take the fight that you're talking about.
And I think the key in this coming fight is that Mind Control tries to find Necrophos. If he manages to do that, that would be really big. For him, though, he doesn't have a force staff in this game with the build that he went. He went for a way more teamfight heavy, less skirmishy item build. So if he does catch this Necro, counterplay is available. He can't force staff the Necro into his team, so he's got to be a little bit careful with how he goes about it. You don't want to lasso Tiny, because it lasts 1 second.
Yeah.
And Phantom Lance is a pretty difficult catch, so it should be pretty clear that he wants...
GH can be revealed by this observer wall, but the Blink Lasso has already come out. Zai's going to get caught. GH will be there to support, and PPD for once is not the man who's dying. Oh, no. Okay. He flew the other direction, almost full-on cast curse.
PPD was aware that all their lockdowns, he was both lasso and kick, I believe, went into that kill on the Nature's Prophet, so was able to get out. Miracle.
Yeah, he's got that observer wall, just watching the PL illusions farming. This very thick coverage of the dire jungle. And wherever there isn't a ward, there's GH or there's a Broodmother. Right. Manta Style is done for the Phantom Lancer.
Pycat's starting to get somewhere now. He's still, I think his next item, if he gets that without them losing more than maybe 1 lane of barracks, this game could get really interesting for Optic. But it's a big if. They're 12,000 down. They could have Aegis and Cheese. They have the high ground position right now that they're trying to strike from, which is being picked out by PPD, is aware that this seems like the most likely place for them to be right now based on their vision. And good thing about this Nature's Prophet pick is that, well, when Liquid tries to start getting into this high ground position, the split push is kicking in. 33, as well as Treant's top, are pushing this down quickly, and I think Liquid will retreat and not get to high ground just yet.
Yeah, you see this, it's the heroes too they're willing to sacrifice. Well, yes, you want to have like items onto 33. He's already got the Aghanim Scepter. He's got the item for that high ground defense. And Zai, well, he's the sacrificial lamb. The rest of the time, it's making sure PL has that space to farm up.
CCNC.
Need to get bigger. CCNC does get initiated on. Support is nearby, but they are not going to help him out. CCNC can do the avalanche toss and hurt Matumberman, but you hurt him, but you don't kill him. He's still got the Aegis. Instant movement. 33's on bottom lane. They're pushing up the other side lane, and they do find a big... 9th death to PPD. And they also saw Zai, I think, for half a second. They just keep pinging him out, too.
Sometimes Dota is really hard. Sometimes it's just really, really hard. It's one of those games. Being Crystal Maiden in this game is really hard.
Yeah. But at least now they know where Ursa and GH move. Both TP down to the shrine underneath the Dire Obs. So Optic can play around this. Kuro and Matumba rotating down towards the bottom lane as well. With Manta, it's so easy for Phantom Lancer to dodge out of these areas. Hey, Zai, you want to kill that ward in time? Yeah, he does.
He does.
154 gold. I like it.
So Zai going for that force staff without... He still doesn't have boots. Gets obviously some movement speed from the Spirit Vessel. 30 movement speed. So it helps. And he has a movement speed talent. So still moves at a decent 362. And this force staff is crucial for his team. That's how they can try to disengage from a Diffusal Broodmother. It's how they can try to disengage from an Ursa blinking and going for a bash. It will, however, not save them from Lasso.
Yeah.
And Mind Control with that newly picked up Yules now has 2 disables and skirmishes.
The push is coming again up on top lane, but Team Liquid, remember, they've got the Aegis Immortal, they've got the cheese. They want to be breaching the base. Even if it's just to kill off the tier 3 tower, that will open up the shrines for, well, demolishing. So they smoke up, 4 heroes together. And who's going to be the target? Right now, Prophet still has a lot of momentum on top lane. CCNC's farming in the jungle. Getting very close towards that Shadow Blade, but they need to hold their buyback money too. Tiny and Necro both have buyback available. And here's Matumberman testing the defenses, putting the toe in the Optic Lake. And how cold's it going to be? PPD. Oh, that's cold. That's real cold. PPD just gets exploded again. 43 seconds down. Blink lasso, big target. They called out 33. There needs to be some kind of save. So you can see where is the extra help. The swap back. They just keep going one by one. Luckily, there's a lot more Pycat where that came from. Chasing up the Kuro, burning up the mana. Pycat now has to use the mana style, but he's waited so that the diffuser blade follow-up is up. Pycat does not have buyback available. Necro is used here. Miracle has burned the BKB. Now, you may have taken the top tier 2 tower and Zai's been reaching the tier 3 tower on top, but you are losing your mid if you're Optic. And who wants to come back to defend this? Zai's already beginning his TP out, and it's Mind Control who's sent back for defense. They don't care. Miracle and Matumba will be happy to continue this fight.
That was the one lasso they needed. The exact target and the exact time. Mind Control just waited for it patiently. When's Necro coming in?
Send him up, bring him back down again. Remember, there's still the Aegis Immortal on Matama, but Avalanche, can he toss him back in? No! The silence is up! And CCNC, the triple kick! GH! Gee God! So good! Triple kill for Miracle! They're gonna look for the Ultra! This will be a dive back on 33! Wait for the inevitable! Matama was just a beast! Miracle will take the Ultra kill, and that really is probably the game. They're in fact doing it. GG Cole is gonna come out in just a bit as the GG pushes up. Pycat is the sole defender for Optic Gaming, and there is no way he can hold back the Horde.
Liquid just looks so good, man. They're making all these super good decisions with which heroes they put where, how they play their lanes, how they move around, spellcasting, everything's on point. They look in really good shape, honestly.
Yeah, that's GG. That's it. Team Liquid have done it. To half an hour for game 2. It belongs to them, and so does top 6. They are the defending champions, and they are playing champion-level Dota.
They made it look easy this game, I gotta say. This time, they didn't have this super big Alchemist time bomb that you had just had ticking. This game was more about just crisp execution. Like I said, movement, laning. They just itemization.
They're ticking
I feel like I watched this game and I couldn't really put a finger on what they did. Like everything was super clean. Actually, no, there was one. GH missed a kick.
Critical.
Once.
But then
he missed a silence.
Yeah, but then he got like 3 4-man kicks as well every single time. GH was all across the map, and that's going to feel good for Team Liquid. A terrific start to their TI8 campaign here in the playoffs. They're able to get the victory in the quarterfinals. Now they're top 6 at TI8.
Congratulations then to Team Liquid. They are the reigning champions and they've managed to make their way through to the top 6 guarantee. That's not the end of the story as far as they're concerned. Now they've got one eye on the prize already. But fantastic performance by the defending champions. And commiserations to Optic, but they are not out of the tournament. They do drop down for a second chance in the lower bracket. Back with our panel members. Gods, what did you make of the performance overall, the best of 3?
Liquid's just too good at Dota, really.
Do we need to ban them?
It's just insane how talented they are as a team. Some of the plays they're making where like GH is rolling into a preemptive swap. Individually, they're just... I think they outmatch Optic in almost every role. And that's with Optic having some amazing players like Zai, PPD. And everyone on that team you could say is one of the world-class players, but Liquid just has them beat.
Yeah. GH is a bit of a god. Did make one mistake in there, Mr. Kick. Terrible, disgraceful.
Yeah, I mean, that was that bottom lane was quite a thrashing.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Earth Spirit Batrider combo just completely destroyed everything that it seemed that Optic had planned. They took over so much. I think GH had like 90% kill involvement throughout the game as well, just running around making everything happen. Me and Black are looking, we're like, oh, Podcast's level 11, I think, on PL, and that's a level 12 Earth Spirit or something. Like, it was just insane how much pressure they actually put on the map.
Yeah, fun Batrider game as well.
Yeah, I mean, we said after the 4th pick it's going to be rough for Optic. And this game was just, I think they had a better draft than Liquid, and they just had a way better execution as well. Like, what do you do if you get outplayed and outdrafted? It's like, you can't win Dota.
I guess they have to be kind of philosophical, don't they, Gods? After this, they just have to sort of think, well, that was Liquid, that's the best team in the world. It's where we want to be, but we're not quite there yet. Focus on our own game now through the lower bracket.
Yeah, I would say so. You have to go one series at a time. You're not going to be versing Liquid again for quite some time, most likely. And if you're Optic, try and keep your head high. It's very tough going from those winner bracket series straight into the lower bracket. A lot of teams, you get tough to a loss, can very quickly, be eliminated. But I think for Optic, it is very much, hey, it's Liquid. That's okay.
Yeah. I think let's move on quickly.
Sin said it too at the end there. He was like, yeah, they didn't really make mistakes. So that's something maybe Optic could look at. Like they were on fire this game.
Yeah,
just absolutely.
And you have to put it behind yourself, don't you? You can't get too wrapped up in it if it's a quick game, and they were two pretty quick games indeed. Why don't we catch up with Casey right now, who is with the captain of Team Liquid, Mr. Kuroki himself.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but that was your 11th game in a row that you've won, including group stage.
I didn't pay attention.
I don't pay attention to my wins. How does it feel, though, to have that momentum coming into TI? Do you think that helped?
From the group stage?
Yeah.
Probably. More like when we start playing on the playoffs, it's more like we want to reset. That's how I want to do it, at least. Just because group stage is like the first chapter of the tournament and the playoffs is the second one. And since there's a day off between two, I think the momentum, it can go for some teams, for us, maybe not so much.
Yeah. I think what's so interesting about watching you guys play is the confidence level, and so much of TI and Dota in general is about the mentality and the emotion behind it. How does the beginning of TI8 feel compared to how you all felt as a team at this point of TI7?
Oh, that's a very good question. Like last year we were in a similar position, but this year I told myself I don't want to do the same mistakes I did last year. So it truly is about how we feel when we're sitting in the booth. So we just prepared for it, and this time we felt great.
What mistakes are you referring to?
Yeah, that's my secret. So.
Well said, thank you. Now you have a day off. When you have a day off before heading into another match, how do you like to spend it? Do you guys try to relax a little bit, or is it more about let's play, let's keep the momentum going, let's try to stay in the mindset of Dota 2?
There's definitely some relaxing, some taking time off, but most of it we just have to watch the games and just see what the other teams are doing and prepare for a potential opponent already.
Well, speaking of watching the other teams, something that we're seeing that's a lot different this year from previous years is we're seeing so many different heroes being played, as opposed to kind of the same pool, people drafting from the same group. Why do you think that is, and how do you think that's changed the way that you draft and the way that you need to approach playing at this level?
Well, Dota is a great game. You can play everything. You can be so creative. A lot of things are even unseen in the game. I think this year teams are more respectful, I would say, of other strategies. Usually it's like teams have their own things going on. But this year it feels like every team is just taking strats shamelessly from every single team and just absorbing all their information. It just shows me the level of competition has never been so high.
Something common that we're hearing from people is that anything can happen, especially at this TI. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. TI is a different beast compared to all other tournaments.
Do you have any opinion on whether you'd rather face PSG, LGD, or VP on Wednesday for your next match?
Oh, they're both my favorites. So, I don't mind. They're both world's best teams, so they like it feels like a grand finals in itself if we play them every time. So may the better team win.
May the better team win. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Paul, back to you.
Thanks very much, Casey. Yes, and thank you, Kuroki, as well. A top 6 finish guaranteed, but it's only halfway, really, isn't it? It's like, you know, yeah, they've won the game, and yeah, they're in the top of the bracket, and they're going through, but it almost feels incidental to him right now. It's like when it gets later on in the tournament and they're in the top 3, then it will start feeling real about, can we make this 2 in a row?
I think he's just more focused on not going down to that lower bracket.
Right.
They want to just chill at the top.
I mean, talking about mistakes, what do you think he's talking about there? What do you think they did wrong last year?
Probably dropping into the lower bracket.
I mean, yes, but how did they get to that? How did they make that? Did they underestimate their opponent? What did they do?
Well, we don't know, right? It's their secret.
What do you think?
Well, okay, from what I could tell back then when they played against the team they lost against, what was it? Was it IG?
IG, yeah.
IG, right? IG beat them, right? They didn't look as calm as they used to in the other games, yeah. So maybe they were, I don't know, nervous, maybe a bit too overconfident, I don't know. But
maybe they need to go on more boat trips.
I mean, their boat trip was very
chill, wasn't it?
Very chill, yeah. Want to do a boat trip? Fuck. You and me?
Yeah, we could do it sometime.
I don't think that...
We don't have the same things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that gets you into Liquid, though. That is what you were angling for.
You never know. Liquid B, Liquid Potential. Liquid B?
Liquid Juniors. I like it.
Yeah.
Take it.
When there's a Veterans League, we're gonna be so good, us team. Us 4+1 easy.
Oh, we're all under 40 here. You know, we're not veterans yet.
Seasoned.
See, I like that. Seasons is a good phrase. Yeah, we'll go with Seasons. Let's talk about Optic. I mean, okay, disappointing, obviously. Gods has made the point, come on, it's Liquid. We knew we were going to have a tough game. Put that out of our mind, go down in the lower bracket, have some fun, make some good progress. Do you think they can make progress?
Absolutely. I think they should look at this game and honestly look at the way that Liquid played it and be like, look at how they prioritize things, look how they change things up, right? In the game, they picked the PL. They're like, all right, PL can be great versus Batrider, but the way that Mind Control adapted and changed the way his hero would innately be played, going for this Crimson Guard, changed the overall understanding of how the matchup works between those two heroes. So I think looking at that and taking some notes is probably a good thing to do for Peter and boys.
Did it feel like they made too many mistakes, or did you just feel like it was Liquid just playing really well?
I mean, they definitely made mistakes. Peter died a lot in that game, in particular as Crystal Maiden, but it is a really hard Crystal Maiden game. I think it was Liquid playing really, really good, but some slighter mistakes. I think it was more just Liquid dominating.
Okay. Black, final thoughts on that?
I mean, just as Dota, right? Like Liquid just forced a lot of mistakes upon Optic. I think it's not more like they didn't really want to make those mistakes. It was just Liquid. They just ran them over, and if you get run over, you make all these decisions you usually wouldn't make. And yeah, I think most of the credit goes to Liquid there.
And we talked about the draft matchup beforehand between the two captains, the mentality of it all. Obviously, Kura's coming out on top in that respect as well. But do you feel like it was actually quite a mental draft, or do you feel like it played out just the way it should have done?
I think, particularly with Game 1, Peter tried to be a bit too next level, tried to maybe outthink Kuro, and Kuro just, stuck to the basics of drafting, used the pick really well. Game 2, covered all their bases, second pick Brood, they had a draft that had magic, physical damage, could push, could team fight, could do everything. So it was pretty standard, nothing crazy as far as Kuro's drafting went, and PPD just, he tried to do too much.
All right, well, let's find out if he actually did do too much, because Machine is with PPD right now.
For you. Either way, I do have PPD here, and I have that horrible job of talking to someone who has slipped now to the lower. I understand this game from your perspective a little more. You've gotten to what most would consider one of, if not the strongest tournament. What's your take on it?
I think that's a pretty accurate description of what we saw out there. I think that the better team just won today, and I don't know what to say. We're probably in a closer position to where we belong than they do.
So you're kind of managing your expectations coming into that game.
I don't really. What do you mean manage my expect to lose? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm trying to understand as in what was your mindset when you kind of conceded that loss? Are you feeling like, you could have done better? Did you have higher expectations of yourself?
We barely squeezed into the upper bracket, and then we were selected by the top seed of Group A. So realistically, coming into that match, we're pretty big underdogs. I don't really think many people expected us to win, and I think we definitely saw who was the better team out there. So we'll see how far we can make it in the lower bracket, but just happy to be here, man.
And speaking of lower bracket, last question. Fnatic and Serenity are going to be battling it out. Who do you think is going to be taking that one? Who would you rather face?
I think Fnatic is the better team. I think that watching the early group stages, I think that they were I was worried they were going to win TI. And then Abed died twice with Huskar against Mineski, and then the team lost every single game after that. So hopefully they're still spiraling out of control.
Okay. So expecting to see Fnatic and hoping they're still in their diving ways.
Expecting to see Fnatic, hoping to see Serenity, because I am the China Slayer after all.
And on that bombshell, we'll leave it. PPD, we'll be seeing you a little later on. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yes, thank you very much, Machine, and thanks PPD as well. The normally very calm and logical, methodical PPD, very matter of fact. Well, they were the better team, and they came from the upper bracket. They selected us, and that's what we expected.
I liked how he jabbed at Alex a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's going to have a bit.
He said, "What are you saying?"
He said, "What do you mean? You think we expect to lose?" But we kind of did.
No, straightforward, right? It's exactly what you'd expect from Peter.
Yeah.
But a quick question: does Optic have a coach? They don't, right? Because I know that Heen does a lot of work for Liquid as well when it comes to draft.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I don't think. I think they're one of the few that don't here. But yeah, it's an interesting point, nevertheless. We're going to move on, gents, because our next match is just around the corner. We've got a very big game between the next two teams. These next two teams, PSG, LGD going head-to-head with Virtus Pro. These two teams, if you're not familiar with the whole series and you're just joining us in international, welcome along, by the way. We're very happy to have you with us. But we'll fill you in on what has been an incredible 9 months of the Dota Professional Circuit season. These two teams have finished second and third and have been absolutely fantastic all season long. Between them, they've won 7 of the majors. That's insane, right? Yeah. How have they not? 7 of the entire season, I should say, minors and majors. 21 tournaments, and they've cleaned up these two between them. It's incredible.
Especially because they started picking it up toward the end.
LGD, the last 4, they won 2 of the last 3, maybe 3 of the last 4. I can't remember now. There's been so many, but fantastic end to the season, and then finished 3rd, obviously, at the Super Major as well. Just behind Virtus Pro. The interesting thing for me is that's the only time Virtus Pro have beaten LGD all season long. Was the very last time they met at the Super Major. So they're going to find this hard. This isn't a straightforward. People look at this Virtus Pro, they're so good, they're just going to blow them away. That's not going to be the case, is it?
Yeah, VP for the longest time were looking like the best team in the world, over Liquid even, throughout the DPC. They, by far, top DPC points leader. They were just winning major after major. They were doing it seemingly without trying half the time. They were playing with stand-ins and winning minors. Like, these guys were just unbeatable, and then LGD, they came along. Post-roster shuffle, they were like, hey, guys, it's no longer just about VP, Liquid, we're here too.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at their season, 2nd at the PGA Open Bucharest, which was all the way back last October, then they had a 9th, 10th, an 8th, a 9th, 8th, 9th, then another 2nd at Starlight, and then a 9th, 12th. You'd look at that in isolation and think, God, these guys they're awful, they're up, they're down, we don't know what they're going to do at each other. And then they hit their stride. 1st at Epicenter, 1st at MDL, and then 3rd at Dota 2 Sumo. Very strong finish from them.
And they got, second at DAC too, right before that, I believe.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So that was, it was a remarkable run for them. And I mean, for me, I'm personally looking forward to Somnus versus No One, just to jump into that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fun. We have a lot of fun coming up for this match.
Yeah, lots and lots of those kind of battles, I guess, all across the field. In fact, lots of great 4s, 2 great 4s in these 2 teams as well. The offlane looks fun. So much to talk about between these 2 teams. Gods, what did you make of Virtus Pro's season? Obviously, they finished top. They won 4 majors and won 5 tournaments overall. As you said before, they kind of looked like they weren't trying sometimes, and they still seem to be. I likened it to being a lion playing with its food. That seems to be what it was like sometimes with them in finals.
It felt that way. They've always been this incredibly confident, cocky team at times. They play with stand-ins. They'll mess around a bit. They'll dive your base and just get overconfident, but they win doing it. So their season's been amazing. They've won majors at the start of the season. At the end, they're probably one of the few teams that kind of have had that consistency where they were dominant at all stages throughout. It wasn't like a LGD where it's all just last 3 or 4 months. And the crazy thing is, they're versing LG in the first round. We've got the top 3 teams in the DPC all in the same half of the bracket. Yeah. So some of them are ending in the lower bracket. There's going to be some very sad loser bracket teams who suddenly have a LGD or a VP dropping down.
It's a good point, isn't it? Black, you want to win it. I know best of ones are horrible if you're a team. We love them because obviously it's exciting, but horrible for the teams. But then, to look forward, they've got one of these 2 teams to look forward to playing in the next round.
At least that's a best of 3, so they can lose twice.
I don't know if that's any better.
It's a little
bit. I've earned a little bit more money, I've gone a bit further. When you look back at their results over the season, they've never finished lower than 5th, 6th, Vold, in all 12 tournaments that they played in through the season. That was their 2 lowest positions. It was only twice. Outside of that, they finished in the top 4 in every single tournament they played in.
Sounds appropriate to me. After we saw them pick up Roger and fix the little things that they thought were their problems, they were that beast. That's how a beast that in any tournament, we would look right off the bat, we'd be like, oh, VP's setting the meta again.
Yeah. You still remember that interview where no one was like, we need Liquid. Liquid is like our biggest challenge, we really want to play Liquid. And then, I think the first time they played them was it a Super Major then?
They played them before that.
They did?
Yeah.
But he keeps saying that they're the biggest challenge, they always enjoy playing against them, it brings out the best in both teams.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the chat wheel.
That's going to be like an attack
during the game as well.
The hero chat wheel. Oh, the hero chat wheel is so good. It's so good.
Indeed. Okay, we're going to bring out our 2 teams. First up, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for LGD. There we go then, 2 legendary brands clashing together to form Paris Saint-Germain LGD Gaming. They await their opponents, who are also on their way to the centre of the arena. Virtus Pro, everyone. Virtus Pro on their way out and heading into their booth in what we would usually say is the familiar white, black and orange, only they've changed their colours, of course, for this particular time. I can't get used to the green and the purple just yet, but it does seem to suit the theme that we have here, which is a green year here at the International, so we'll get used to that. We'll let them settle, and obviously we'll get towards the draft fairly shortly. LGD first up. Do you know what? Why don't we just get some words from them, and then we'll have your thoughts on LGD. So let's check in with PSG LGD.
其实打 TI 的话，不同感受其实就是在打之前吧。然后如果你去那个地方，你在一些就你开始进入状态，就是开始进入比赛状态，其实都一样。你是要时刻的就为这个比赛做准备，然后去研究下一个对手。
大家可能在一起进步啊，就配合什么的都比一开始要好很多。
光是你这个队长，他平时在队里是怎么帮助你的？到这一个队里
说实话，在你说之前，我都不知道 F1是队长，是没什么特别的吧？可能我只是算名义上一个队长吧，就是可能年纪最大吧。
ME 游戏内的话，就它是一个比较可靠的一个队友，就它前期会话会比较少，那中后期就会站出来撑着场面，带我们打。
不管是游戏还是生活，都是那种就很开朗的，就是会去积极的沟通，然后去想赢的办法。
常有时就别人话很多就。 比较搞笑，
游戏内的话，有鼓动的时候，然后也有就是在那混的时候。
另外人性格的话，就是很认真吧，就感觉就特别认真那种吧，就很认真，就是那种优等生的感觉吧。
X 的话和查理斯来了之后，就整个队伍感觉焕然一新的感觉嘛。 就大家干劲儿也都比较足，
很恰吧，就是大家感觉有相近啊，什么想法什么都很相近，就是这一个队伍是最重要一点嘛，就是大家能相处得来，然后对游戏的理解也都很接近，就是所以能进步得很快。
第一次在刚来老干节的时候，就第一个比赛夺冠，就很激动，很兴奋。 就肯定想象过拿田为一嘛，因为想的是到时候什么姿势，有什么表情，就可能想象其实没什么用，主要要付出一些实际的东西。哎，就是最好的，就是最棒的嘛。卓越职业呢肯定是想去的嘛，TI夺冠肯定就是最要容易的。
TI 就应该是每个职业选手都很看重的一个比赛吧。他们觉得 DOTA 就职业生涯里面，赢得 TI 彩赛是最高的成就嘛。对，我也是这么觉得的。
There is no doubt about it. Those boys from PSG LGD are gunning for glory. All of the memes, all of the streaks, all of the curses are all on their side. But it means nothing unless they can't get past Virtus Pro. They want to stay in this top part of the bracket.
I actually have something curious I want to know, and you might have it, but I was looking at the ages pop up under their names.
Yeah.
Like how old they are. Are they the youngest team? They've got, I saw 19 to 20-year-olds.
They do have some youngsters
They seem
on the
to
team.
be...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
cool. And then
they
VP
made the
had
point,
one.
didn't they? They were talking about how it felt like it's more harmonious now. The fact that they've got Chalice and X-Nova on it, but it's also made a difference in their results as well, hasn't it?
Immediately, too. It was like, right after they joined, they were off winning Epicenter. After getting second place at TSC, then they go on to win MDL as well. They were winning tournament after tournament. And when they weren't at Super Major A, they're still getting third place behind VP and Liquid. So they've been dominant and consistent.
Yeah, I mean, someone said to me actually in the hallway on the way out here, I think these two are probably the biggest impacts on any of the teams. I think only Roger, maybe, you could argue, going into a winning team already. But, I mean, he immediately won Katowice. I think they won 2 majors back-to-back after he joined as well. So that's a big impact. But as 2 players joining a team, totally changing the team, that's got to be the biggest impact of the season.
Definitely. I really wonder if maybe it is because something like that. They've got this new blood, these young players, and they're just like, they get kind of like revitalized from it. They're like, oh, we've got our usual older crew, but then, bam, we get these new younger bloods, and they kind of bring back this harmony that they wanted to have initially when they made that roster with FY offlane.
Black, you've played in China, obviously. You've played with a couple of these players in the past as well. So, what is it that's rejuvenated them? Is it the young blood? Is it a chance at a title finally after trying for so long?
Well, it's always hard to say. When like a new player joins, he has like a lot of new ideas, a lot of new ways to play the game. And if 2 of them join, of course, it doubles. And I mean, it's always like a mixture. It's like a gamble.
Yeah.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't
Because it could be
work.
messy, can't it, as well?
Exactly. Yeah. For them, it seemed to work out like perfectly. And props to them. It was really good.
Yeah. Have you managed to speak to any of your old mates?
I spoke to FY a bit and his wife.
Yeah.
But other than that, not really.
Okay. Is he still hungry? Does he still want one of those titles?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he hasn't won a TI yet, so he's definitely hungry for one. Maybe if he wins one, like I'll talk to him again. How's everything looking after that? But for now, he's definitely very, very hungry.
Yeah. And back in his familiar position as well. We were talking about this before. Players moving around and playing in different positions. He's much more comfortable again.
So much more comfortable, yeah. I
didn't want to overplay it, but at the same time, you're kind of like, it was very different.
Yeah, I think it just changed the whole dynamic of the way the team worked when he was playing offlane. When he gets to play support, it was totally different. It was great.
Yeah. And Chalice, we talked about the impact they've had on the team being harmonious, but what have you made of his performances? Because at times, it doesn't look like this is a new kid on the block at all. This looks like an established veteran.
He's not super flashy, but he's very consistent, very good, knows his role, does his job. And I think watching that video there, the thing I learned is that this guy just brings some fun to the team. You need to get along. You saw that with Liquid, GH and Miracle, how much they're bonding and being buddy-buddy. He's the guy who seems to be laughing and making jokes. Oh, FY, he's the captain? What? No, that's not true. I just learned that. So, I mean, I think he's actually very important for that.
All right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to start our second upper bracket quarterfinal of the day.
Virtus Pro versus PSG LGD. Game 1.
Here we go then, draft incoming for game number 1. Best of 3, of course, a reminder for you, winner goes through to the top 6 to play. Incredibly, last season's champion, which will be Team Liquid. So the top 3 teams in the Dota Professional Circuit season that have taken 9 months to complete will end up with 2 of the top 3 teams placing against each other in the semi-finals of the upper bracket. All that ahead of us, though, as we head into this first draft. Fogs. 2 teams, 2 styles, 2 very different drafting styles as well. What are you expecting? More of the same from the groups? Do you think LGD have got something up their sleeve?
I think we'll see a little more of the same from LGD. I felt when I was watching the games in the group stage of VP, I felt they were holding stuff back.
Okay. Do they not give you that impression every time, though, Gods, in every tournament we've watched them in?
Yeah, even from the very start, they were like first picking Brood and stuff. It felt like it's almost like if we can win with the first pick Brood, everyone's going to start banning it against us because, they're going to be scared of us. They're going to be scared of what Ramses can do with this hero, and it just constantly puts this worry in your mind when you can just pick heroes in places where they shouldn't be getting picked.
And you say that, and let's look at those opening bans.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's particularly bad when the other team has first pick because they get that second pick brewed immediately into some bans. It just seems like what we saw just now in Game 2 of Liquid.
Liquid, yeah.
Ban it out if they have first pick.
And they even had a good hero to deal with it too. But it didn't work out for them.
No one has played 13 different heroes, by the way, in the group stage.
Out of 16 games.
Out of 16 games.
Ooh,
yeah.
so Venge and Mirana are left in the pool. VP, they take Tiny, though.
Which is one of the ones that no one's played. But then Pasha's also played it 3 times during the group stages. And they haven't run it as a support.
Yeah.
It's about the only thing they haven't done with it. Fairly safe opening? You okay with that?
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't reveal too much.
A lot of positions, very strong hero, very versatile hero. Definitely fine with that.
He feels really good versus like the meta where we've gone away from the traditional carries. We pick these ranged carry, mid to max carries that he can actually burst down, and that's a first pick draw.
Very. Is that the first time? No, I think we've had a couple. We've had a couple of first pick draws.
Is that big draw Venge?
I think we had one where Liquid did where they had his first 2 draw and then they finished with an Alchemist. Or I think one team did that. Maybe it was PSG LGD. I can't remember.
These guys have played draft 3 times during the group stage. Won all 3 games, by the way, and it is the traditional, what has become a legendary combo now of Drow Venge.
Yeah, like even 3 years ago, there was a commonly picked combo already.
Yeah.
It just amplifies the draw range so much.
Yeah.
And there's so many cores that you can partner with Drow. You don't care what they ban here. Oh, they banned them Mirana, whatever. We'll pick some other Medusa or something instead. There's unlimited partners for this draft.
But with these 2 heroes, like literally every hero in the game deals 150 plus damage if you're next to them. Like these 2 are just like a really safe opener. Of course, there's a lot of ways to punish a Draw Ranger, but usually that's where like Somnus' pick comes into like really dominated mid lane, and then he makes space for a draw later on.
We've talked all season long, Gods, it feels, about Chinese teams not willing to go out there, a Brood, a Meepo, a Huskar. If there's one team that will do that, it is this team, though. It is LGD. They played a Huskar in the groups, for instance.
They're definitely less predictable than, for example, Newbie, who for the longest time, just opened Naga Disruptor. They got a bad rep for that. I think even looking at some of the teams like Vici Gaming and their sister team, VGJ Thunder, the same kind of picks and patterns could be formed in their drafts. LGD, they mix it up a lot more. They're much more versatile, and I think a big part of that is just the core players they have been willing to play a lot more different heroes.
Yeah, you look through Navy's heroes from the group stage. Lena 3 times, Tiny 3 times, Storm Spirit in there. There's an Alchemist, a Huskar, a Queen of Pain, a Zeus, a Clinks, Necro, and a Leshrac as well in there. That wasn't picked all that often in the group stages. So plenty of flexibility.
So the Bane, right? So they open with the Bane versus the Drown Venge. Just strong traditional laner.
Of course, it's a very strong laner,
Fable
but
later.
It's not like particularly great against either of the 2.
Yeah.
And usually the heroes that you pair with the Draw Ranger are pretty good against Bane too.
Maybe to set up like for the ganks on split pushing in situations, right? Because you're playing versus a Drow lineup. Eventually you'll have some range guys splitting.
Yeah, but even then, just as a Drow, you activate the aura and your creeper split pushes for you already.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see VP go for that.
Yeah, one of Solo's most played in the group stages, alongside Silence and of course the Venge, which is already gone. So
the 4 bans that came out that are completely understandable, makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
The Spectre PL, I mean, if they're running Drow Ranger, you don't want these gap closers to just get on top of you instantly, and if these heroes take it to the late game, which you don't really want to as a Drow.
There is one more though. Phantom Assassin is really good against the Drow Ranger.
We have not gotten a lot of PA here though.
We have not. And the Necro kind of takes care of it.
Yeah, well, that's not coming out anymore, is it?
No, never mind.
Back to the drawing board on that one.
Yep, take that back.
Good Necro pick, just one of the best laners, and with Drower, it's going to be even better laner. So
you can keep going on the PA hype train if you want, but it's been played twice during the group stages, hasn't won a game.
Well, it's better than losing 3 games.
Got him.
It's got a better win-loss rate than AN in this tournament so far.
What's AN? 0-1?
0 as well from 1, yeah.
All right, so they take... So now with the Bane starting makes a little more sense, right? Because now they have the combo.
Yeah.
It's a Roger Conquer, pretty much confirmed.
Roger, yeah.
I would assume an offline Necro, right? Like, Somnus, he plays these kind of heroes, but... Yeah, I don't think he's like the Necro guy. He's more like the Storm Spirit kind of guy.
Yeah, it's kind of left open if they want to run it mid for whatever reason when you get to that last pick of the draft.
But they do have the last pick anyway.
Yeah.
So usually the 10th hero is the hero that really goes well with the Draw Ranger.
That's such a good pick for them here.
It's perfect.
Gives them this great 5-man death bowl. It gives them a heal, gives them sustain, team fight. Incredibly strong laner as well, which is often a big weakness when you have a draft strat.
Enigma for Virtus Pro. It's been a more popular pick here than we've seen in the most recent tournaments. It's nice to see it back, and of course that black hole causing all sorts of problems for many of the teams.
Some of the Storm Spirit?
They have swapped for the black hole. It's not like a uncountered kind of Enigma game. It's not the perfect Enigma game.
Well, until you get BKB. Yeah, until you get BKB Lincolns.
Yeah, if they get both. But they can double, they both could use their ultis, and then it still could go.
Yeah, but then everything's wasted also.
It's true, exactly.
What do you think about Storm last pick? LGD?
Definitely looks like a possibility at Mirana's band.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be tiny mid. So Storm against that, how is that? It should be laneable. I mean, pretty much when you're a Storm, you just want to get level 6.
Yeah, I think Tiny wins that one, though, because you're going to get hit by the cleave every single time.
He definitely wins, yeah. But what hero doesn't win against Storm?
Yeah,
that hero
yeah, it's true.
So be our first Enigma game of the tournament, by the way.
How do you feel about the Kunkka, by the way, after versus the Drow and Necrophos? I feel like it's kind of neat, right? Because Necro, you want to reaper kill people. If you have the boat,
yeah.
the boat.
It sets you off completely. Usually, like you're level 18, half health, you reaper the guy. But with the boat buff, you need to wait until it's like 25%.
Yeah, exactly.
You're able to kill him.
I actually think it's a pretty cool pick. I know VP also, they've really liked this Kunkka on Roger throughout the group stages. So
yeah, played it twice.
They could potentially do Kunkka mid.
One boat.
Yeah, it's still.
But it's unlikely because LGD has a last pick and there's a lot of Kunkka counters in the pool.
So I think what, Storm or Queen of Pain?
Storm
for LGD?
Quap is a bit more dangerous because they have a lot of lockdown for him.
Okay.
So what do Virtus Pro need? What rounds out the draft? Not necessarily the hero, but what are they looking for? What attributes?
Well, they want to have a Ramses hero, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a Ramses, a good lane against Necrophos. He hasn't played Tiny, right? It was only
He hasn't played Tiny yet, no. No one has, though.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a mid-Tiny.
Like Pasha's played 3 games on that Tiny already.
Okay.
So it could well be enough, but with the Enigma...
He hasn't played Enigma yet, right?
No. Enigma hasn't been played by Virtus Pro at all.
What could we get against like a Necro? Necro Undying is such a strong lane, though.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what to pick against that. If I'm a
Weaver,
carry,
right? Weaver, but Weaver's taken out way earlier.
Weaver's banned.
Yeah, it's banned way earlier.
I mean, the thing to figure this out as well is the Tiny's key here, isn't it? Because we don't know where that's going. It's unusual they pick no one zero first.
It is, yeah.
But you have to assume it probably is.
Visage. So it's a Ramses Visage then.
Okay.
They definitely need to dodge the Necro lane though. Necro Undying
does not sound fun for Visage.
Well, decimate.
Yeah.
A Visage lane.
Visage is like a notoriously bad laner. I feel like you've picked pretty weak lanes into a Drow strat, and that's like you're not really taking advantage of the fact that Drow herself is a bad laner.
Usually it's a disaster. A recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
They do that against the Drow.
I mean, right now looking at VP's rep, it looks like they're relying heavily on some incredible mid-game team fights.
Yeah.
Well, LGD, they've got, but LGD's got such strong lanes coming off of this.
It's going to be very, very rough. Sumnus. Ember Spirit, possible. Pretty good against the heroes. Ember Spirit, Storm Spirit.
Alright, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Right, let's bring in Mr. BSJ, who's going to give you the lowdown on his thoughts.
It's your boy BSJ here, talking about the draft. We see the Drow Ranger lineup. As you guys mentioned, it looks like they have these scary lanes. They have the snowballing Necro hero, who even without a Drow is known for just walking at you down a lane and hitting you. And now it's going to hit even harder. I feel like Virtus Pro is under a lot of pressure to get a lot of good team fights, a lot of skirmishes in the mid-game, shutting down LGD's snowball effect, and you can only do that through killing these heroes. These heroes do not get bullied out of lane, these Necros, these Undyings. So LGD has this scary group up as 5 lineup, and if they can manage to shut them down in the mid-game on Virtus Pro side, I think they'll take it, but I've got LGD. I don't think you can slow the snowball down quick enough.
All right, thank you very much, BSG. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into our second quarterfinal of the upper bracket. Let's hand you over to our commentary team.
Thank you so much, Paul and Trent. We are here on the floor of the Rogers Arena. We have a fabulous matchup coming up. It is VP versus LGD. How you feeling about this one? It's amazing, right?
Titans of the DPC. LGD, they came in a little bit later. You know, Virtus Pro just slang it the entire year, but this is what counts. This is what you play for. The crowd roaring already to see if LGD can take on the DPC champs Virtus Pro.
And we're going to hop right on into this one. I am so excited. And again, they talked about it on the panel, but these are both teams that people were potentially thinking about in the finals, but they're meeting here in the first round, the upper bracket. And as they said, some people in the lower bracket are going to be a little bit scared to see them.
Nobody wants these guys coming down to face. You know, these are not the ones you want to run into, but that's what happens at TI, right? Someone's going to fall down there, so expecting a full 3 games here. I don't want to see any sort of a short game this time.
Absolutely not. And I think that talking about the Drow pick first overall, how like bold that is coming into it. We're already into the game, as you can see right here as well. The movement out from VP as they're going to try and secure themselves some early bounty runes and possibly as well find a kill.
Coming down very quickly here. Ramsey's leading the way. Solo already has the brain zap, so no opportunities here for a Nightmare setup. Largely just a warding mission, it looks like this time, as Pasha dances his way through.
Some early aggression going out there. They're just going to push him back as they do hit a torrent onto the Undying. FY also scouting things out. VP getting up close and personal. I mean, are they going to try and fight this here? They're getting pretty close.
Well, you have Undying, so you want to contest the runes a little bit, right? Got some decay. It's not a whole lot you can do. If they're going to keep 3 heroes here, yeah, you'll have some problems. 4 heroes, if no one's staying as well. This might be enough to drive back PSG LGD.
I mean, up top, Drow Ranger is just going to be able to get those 2 bounty runes. So VP going to try and assert dominance in these early stages. Pasha walking forward as well, but they're going to throw out that magic missile right from the get-go, bringing him fairly low, but the 2-person torrent from Roger, keeping them back and going to be able to secure that bounty rune.
After all that, they actually get it. So looks like Drow, though, was able to win the battle up top, so Ame will secure top and bottom, but chasing Roger.
Good bit of damage coming through, and the last decay from X-Nova takes the kill on the board early.
It was a slow one, but they eventually got there. X-Nova trying to secure you guys some chests out there.
What a guy. You love to see it. So we do have VP. It's going to be the Tiny versus the Storm Spirit in the mid lane. Gonna have to watch for those early glyphs, how they use it there to try and secure the CS and also mess with the opponent mid as well. And down bottom, kind of an interesting lane as well. The Kunkka Enigma, we've kind of been seeing some teams come up with answers for the Enigma as this tournament's gone on.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of teams are trying to focus down the Eidolons as much as possible. Makes sense. The Enigma in lane, he just wants to bully you as much as possible. Use those Eidolons to get all of the denies and try and starve out your lane.
Absolutely. And you can see here already just the pressure coming in. It is actually going to be the Necrophos and the Vengeful Spirit. And as they start to throw out those death pulses and just tear apart the Eidolons, this is the problem that we've been running into. Even if you get some denies, that's still a decent little bit of gold, and then they just push VP back.
Yeah, at the same time, that does cost you, right? They're largely ignoring the wave they chase down, but X-Nova, a bit of trouble.
Stuck over there in the trees, the Grave Chill. He's trying to survive with the decay. It is fairly tanky, but eventually, he actually lives. VP not able to get on the board there.
Oh, so much value. Like, they're spending so much right there. Trying to take down this Undying who's already low on mana.
He just walks back home. So again, down bottom, the pressure coming in. They're throwing out those Wave of Terrors and trying to push VP back underneath their tower. As already LGD feeling pretty comfortable. They're actually going to find the Nightmare up on the top side, though. And with TP's starting to rotate in, VP very far forward, and FY going to put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, the creeps chasing Ramses here. Might be hard to find a TP out, so he's just going to try and go for the run.
Well, they do not have mana for Magic Missile. They get it now with the sticks, trying to chase. But with the Grave Chill, he's just going to be able to run away.
Yeah, Ami's way to win the creeps right now, so allowed to escape that time.
And so far in the mid lane and down bottom as well, actually, Malefus. Okay, there's action happening all over the place. Trying to chase this guy down here. They do manage to find the torrent, and Chalice punches. He's going to go down as well.
Finally, they find themselves a kill. They almost got one mid-2 as well onto Maybe, but he was able to just narrowly survive the punches of no one, salve his way back up, and going very well. I mean, he's ahead right now. Last hits on the lane. Still has a couple of creeps sitting there with him. And this is a lane that you're not really expecting to do this well in as the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to get off to a hot start there. I mean, it's not really the type of lineup that's going to rotate that early. It feels like you kind of need to be able to secure the advantage because of the strength of the LGD lanes coming out. So we're probably going to see this remain as just a 1v1 in the mid for the foreseeable future. And how good is that for LGD going forward if Storm's able to have a decent game?
Definitely the key element of this lineup, right? You're trying to transition that net worth that you gain from going in the mid lane into a snowballing lead. And Storm Spirit's able to do that. Like, what kind of counters do you have against Storm here? The Bane's going to be under-leveled by the time he's first rotating. You don't really have that much control without committing these big ultimates, so there's certainly an opportunity for maybe to take this one over.
Has that new Immortal as well from the craft that was recently released. Love to see it. And, well, 3.5 minutes in, it's already a slight lead into the favor of LGD. As bottom lane, they have found themselves the Enigma. Pasha taking the punches, but it does look like he's just going to be able to walk away. But again, it's a very strong lane down here bottom for LGD.
Yeah, the denies are still racking up though for Pasha, so not a total loss here. Trying to deny some levels. Only level 3 on the Necrophos right now, 2 still for FY as they race for this rune.
Oh, it isn't into this. That's play, but the magic missile. Can you pull him back to get the deny? All right, FY feeling good about himself.
That would have been really nice for Roger. Might be able to open up a kill onto maybe before he hits 6, but now going back to the lane, knowing that rune's been denied, he confirms safely both in the lane as well as in the jungle, and should be a free path to 6 here for him now.
Okay. Well, coming up close to that 5-minute mark where Bounty Rune's going to spawn, and we'll see who it is that's going to be able to take down the early gold lead that those provide you. As far as this bottom lane goes, though, it does look like they're trying to get that pull off. They're able to get the creep wave pulled back underneath the tower with the Eidolons there as well, as X-Nova contesting for the other pull as everybody's just getting in position for these bounties.
Yeah, interested to see what Pasha wants to do in terms of itemization. How much does he want to match up with the Helm of the Dominator that'll come out from his Visage in terms of early game pushes solo? The ultimate rune secure in the Bane, but there's no one else to back him up, so X-Nova grabs the other. And very nicely timed bottom for VP to actually get both there. Manipulating the creep wave, using the Eidolon, so they'll be pushing into that Radiant Tier 1 and secure both bounty runes.
So it does really kind of feel like we're just sort of building up to this timing when we're eventually going to get level 6 on the heroes, the early rotations. Where do you think we might see those first movements across the map by these teams?
Well, I think ideally you wanted the kill on the maybe, like some sort of an X play in the mid lane, but because of the way this lane's been going bottom, they haven't gotten, they got 1 kill in the lane so far for Roger, so there's no jump in experience or anything. Hard to get that second point into the X, so that makes it difficult to rotate mid, and the rune deny was just so important, so everything feels just kind of stalled out every time one of those runes gets denied like that, and we just kind of sit here, because all the denies in this lane, everyone's just so low, like full-on dual lanes, level 4, level 3, level 4, and level 3 for FY.
A nice torrent there as well. They're going to throw out the Malefist onto Chalice, trying to bring him down. He does have 5 sick charges as well as that Ghost Shroud, but the turnaround is going to be there, slowing Roger for the moment. But again, you see, they're not even trying to focus the Punka. They just want to take down these Eidolons.
Yeah, it's just more gold for your side.
More gold, more experience. A torrent on the tower is sometimes scary, but they have a whole creep wave here. Roger does have an X, though, and we'll find Chalice again. Just messing with them.
Yeah, you saw the ping there from Roger, like, you guys want to go? Maybe no one rotate or something, but his TP's in his backpack as well, plus doesn't want to necessarily leave Storm alone like that, and maybe has a haste rune too, so not very easy for no one to make any rotations at the moment.
Big rune pickup for him. We'll see what he decides to do with it. If maybe he wants to look for a kill.
He's got great timing here. He's going to be able to get to the shrine. He can get a stack off too. And pushing that wave out, won't even miss too much in the mid lane.
Again, just a battle of farming early on here. Only 1 kill apiece, 7 minutes into it. As X-Nova is going to come back towards the top and see if he can continue to secure the Drow per farm. And I mean, you look at the CS right now, and it does feel like it's pretty heavily into the favor of LGD.
Yeah, but overall net worth isn't anything too crazy, and I think there is a concern for LGD as well. Just like, this double helm timing is pretty terrifying from VP, right? You get this on the Enigma, you get this on the Visage, you start focusing with these catapults, even just a Satyr aura, something so simple as that, get a Wild Wing from some armor up against this Drow lineup. That can make a big difference.
Maybe going in on no one, thinking about chasing forward for more, and he does still have that haste rune, but with the rotation in from solo, it becomes a lot less palatable, and will retreat as well. We saw a rotation through the mid lane by the Kunkka. He is still sitting over by that bounty rune and is now going to try and rotate up towards X-Nova, who decides to drop the tombstone onto Ramses. Only level 4, while they have reached level 6 for Ame. And as they bring in the rest of them, it looks like they're just going to try and farm up this tomb to actually get the Nightmare onto 1. X-Nova kind of in no man's land. It's a 3-man decay, though, and as they chase forward for more, they're able to find that taunt, get the kill, and Ramses able to walk away as well.
Yeah, there's 7 seconds till the next Nightmare. They want Ame here as well. There's no rotations coming.
Oh, good gust there, but might be in a little bit of trouble now as they chase him down further. The toss forward, they throw out the tree, every dang thing, and instead they're actually going to turn now onto no one. FY trying to chase him down. They pop a regen rune, and then the jump in coming from Maybe. He wants to find him, able to get the kill, and now chase for more. He's going to have so much mana here. In just a second, they spot out Ramses, but instead they're going to turn to Solo, dodging everything. He can't even brain sap him as they take down Solo as well.
Oh, he has at least lost the regen rune for now, and the Wave of Terror on CD, they weren't able to scout anyone else out. But excellent rotations there. They came a little late, you know. LGD just kind of baiting in VP longer, because VP, they head that ward over the tower, so they kind of see, like, guys, no one's coming. Dive this Drought Ranger, but...
Oh, and Chalice finding Pasha in the trees, able to get him. Oh, the Nightmare! Can he walk away? I think he actually might be able to survive through this. Oh, great play coming in from the captain.
Arm flail his way back to the base safely, and Roger will clean up a little bit of his lane here. Try and get him in towards level 6. Both him and Solo in desperate need of the tome right now as PSG LGD force down that top tower. They will get the early edge here with a 3k gold lead heading into the 10-minute mark.
And this is something that... I mean, again, you talked about wanting to go into that double helm. I mean, how worried are you right now at this point if you're VP, the fact that that hasn't really come online yet?
I'd say pretty worried. Things aren't looking too good. Storm Spirit has an excellent start. He's top of the last hits. He's top of the net worth by a very good margin. And if he secures another good rune like this at the 10-minute mark, could just be another round of kills. And look how aggressively Ame's farming, just taking away some of this territory of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, it's so nice because you know that you have this hero behind you, this strong hero in the Storm Spirit that can come and follow up and possibly find a kill. And
that's the rune they wanted, a DD top secured there. As X-Nova will just hang around it with the tombstone just in case, and maybe he'll just be waiting for his moment now.
Yeah, whenever there's an opportunity to strike forward, they're going to likely take it. X-Nova not the best at controlling Tiny. They're bringing Roger in as well to secure that no one does not get dove here. But the rotation coming pretty soon. They have a gust available as well as a magic missile, and actually it's going to go for the slow right at the start. The DD's there, taking down Somnus, very low HP, but they are able to kill off no one. And now looking for Roger as well. It just happens so quick.
5 armor reduction there coming in from FY. And then you're jumping on top with a DD rune onto his 0 armor, Tiny, but you know, he's got 5 armor right now from his ulti, and that's it.
And just look at this. All top net worths right now into the favor of LGD. They're moving around the map. They're taking down these tier 1 towers. VP need to come up with something quick.
There's so much pressure on this first black hole and ship combo right now. And control over the Roche Pit looks pretty good for the side of PSG LGD 2. You've got the Tombstone, you've got vision control from the Wave of Terror, and Storm just zipping in, not caring about terrain. If it's spotted by Virtus Pro, maybe that's the moment they could find. If LGD try and go for it a little bit too early, it is a great terrain to try and fight with the black hole and the ghost ship, but you know they're going to be playing very cautiously and opting for pickoffs before they want to commit to a Roche.
Well, and we did see also just a second ago the tome picked up by the Kunkka. He's now level 6. You have the black hole up and online, and this is the smoke play that they need to go for.
This is how you get back into a game right now. Aggressive Vision is scouting out near the shrine, but they're very grouped here. In fact, there might be a smoke from the Radiant side too. Considering it, looks like X-Nova just going to put down the sentry. Ward instantly spotted.
And while that's happening, instead, they're going to try and go for a different target.
He pulls out the smoke now, though.
Oh.
So they're thinking about wrapping around here from LGD. It's going to be pretty quick, though. This Ame might be found here.
But look at how well he's farming. Like, earlier it was farming aggressively, and we'll see if Roger can get into range to find him with those 3 points in X. It's a really good initiation range. The Gust does end up hitting, but this still is going to connect with the boat, and now they're TPing in the rest of the heroes, but Drow's already dead. Chalice, bold as brass, just walking forward, but they're going to Nightmare and run away. Or are they sandwiched? FY does have a swap available. Is going to swap back into Bane, and Magic Missile out as well. They do not have any boat any further forward, but now the chase, they have the Reaper Sight going in. They want to try and force this fight, it looks like. Although PSG LG, have they overextended? Ramsey is showing up with the familiars, and they're able to take a couple kills. Nightmare
And again, the chase down. They have that Wobbling Ripper for the extra armor, too.
They've got everything they need. They throw it on the Midnight Pulse. He's just dead. A 3-hit gust, but now there's another
black hole.
They're slowly going forward for more, and LGD are willingly walking into them.
There's the chat spam following in the wise words of Gabe. I don't know. It felt like maybe it was so far away while they were starting to initiate on this. And it was like, oh yeah, easy cleanup for a Storm Spirit. This is going to be fun. But one by one, they start falling to Virtus Pro. Great responses from them. This is the fight they want. You know, they're more than willing to TP for these.
Well, and they're still chasing forward. The boat buff is going to keep no one fairly survivable in this, and maybe still sticking around as they just want to sort of keep the pressure on if at all possible. But yeah, it does sort of feel like, you know, it's one of the dangers of playing against Sekunka. You come in to try and save one hero, and then that hero is going to immediately die afterwards, too, because you've got that chase with the X.
Yeah, and with them saving that kill mid, it's just space up top for Ramses. He takes down the tier 1 tower. He's building in towards Medallion next. This is going to put the contest for Roche now in the hands of Virtus Pro.
Smoke up from VP.
A lot of wards in the area from LGD. And they're going to camp this high ground, perhaps. Oh, and they're actually going to move aggressively.
Okay. All of LGD is on the west side.
Very split right now.
This is a little bit bold from them yet again. It does look like maybe going to play it safe. FY does have swap still. They're just sort of positioned on VP's side of the map and seeing if anybody's going to show up so they can find a pickoff with Storm Spirit. Solo also willing to make something happen with his first Fiend script. Just getting level 6 for himself. And as far as the way that the fights want to start for Virtus Pro at this point in the game, is it only through the Kunkka? Is there anywhere else that you could make it happen?
Oh, well, there's one starting now.
All right, down bottom. They try and find a pickoff there. FY just in no man's land.
I think, oh man, chase down again. They're always alone.
What is happening right now? They chase forward for him, able to get it. The net is down as well onto X-Nova. He is surrounded by all of VP. There's a ton of zombies, but the one that matters is dead. And VP now, with these items, are going to start their push.
They're just not playing as the unit they need to right now. Like they don't have any sort of AoE team fight or anything. There's no one who can stall the fight and wait for this rotation from the Drow Ranger and the Storm Spirit. There's no Bane to just grab him here, just maybe. Well, he's trying to recover.
This is a pretty good kill if they can find it onto Roger. Again, any kill on these heroes is a lot of help. But meanwhile, back towards mid, they do take down that tier 1 tower. And Somnus, no one is battling up against him. Can they kill him off in time? Throw in the tree. It's not quite enough damage. Somnus will retreat back and TP away.
The blink is going to be too late. Okay, good pickup for maybe, but we've got an even game at this point. Less than a 1k lead now for the side of LGD, and that's when everything's come online. The double helm. Pasha not even sure what he wants to go for next. Could head in towards that blink dagger if he wants to try and force out these stuns like the swap and the Necrophos with the Reaper Sight. Maybe they'll have to cancel the BKB if he wants to go for that instead, but plenty of options there for him. He could just go for more auras too. Like, don't focus too much on the black hole as the Enigma. Wow, look at this pressure bottom. They can't stop this.
And the win probability is one hero of LGD, but yeah, it's just so many creeps and all the Eidolons in the world. Tier 1 tower is going to go down. It still is about a little bit less than 1,000 gold lead into the favor of LGD, but it feels like momentum possibly swinging as X-Nova, as well as Chalice.
The Solar's going to walk away out of this? They're just like, there's no way this Bane's up here alone. Who would be so crazy?
Pasha in the area, he has his black hole. Alright, they're just gonna get him from over on the side of the trees. And in no man's land yet again, Thomas the Malik that's able to take it down.
And now they're chasing after no Storm Spirit.
Oh, the blink, no one with the reactions, able to get away. There was a Sentry Ward down, but now the boat coming in as well. They swap in one, trying to keep him alive. The Reaper Sight not enough because of the boat buff, and now seeing if they can kill off FY. The wave tears through as well. No one trying to run. He tosses him over to his ally. Pasha, they find themselves another kill. Ramses with a double. And can they take down X-Nova as well?
It looks like it'll be a piece of cake. Pulling him down, a couple free hits for Solo before the rest of the squad joins in, and that's a triple kill for Ramses.
Well, 6-13 after the kiss, and a 1,200 gold swing as well. Feeling quite good now after the last couple of minutes for VP. I mean, the Storm Spirit still has to be considered an issue, though, right?
Yeah, for sure, but I mean, he's slowed down now. He's barely ahead of the Visage that he was once dominating. If you watch the replay here, it's like, oh yeah, some free creeps, that's a lot of gold. But he'd already lost almost a third of his HP before Pasha even showed himself.
Wow. And again, the Malefice at the end there just to secure the kill.
And look at the respect from Pasha there, too. The fact that he used the Black Hole before even dropping the Midnight Pulse.
Right. Yeah, very, very clutch play there. And, man, no one...
That status resistance
barely able to live through that one.
Combination there. He just walks out of the site. Doesn't even care. But smoked up now, they're leading once more with Solo. No Fiend's Grip, but they're looking to secure up this Roche area as PSG are already in the neighborhood.
Down to about half HP, looking for an initiation. Solo might realize what's happening. They're going to throw in the Torrent. They see everybody. The boat, it might only connect onto one, but is it going to be enough?
This looks bad. There's no Enigma.
And of course, having used that black hole a little bit earlier, 80 seconds on cooldown, they are not going to be able to contest. So a big win there for LGD securing Roshan.
Yeah, definitely proving they're not shook quite yet. Get inside the pit, stay focused on the fact that without that black hole, they're not that scary of a squad. And take a much-needed objective there. So this is going to allow Maybe to play very aggressively in these engagements. The last thing he wants, though, is get picked off on the side. Even if they just lose the Aegis, that's going to feel very bad for them. Because I think they need this Aegis to take extremely good fights for them. And try and get themselves into a more secure lead, not just split pushing across the map.
I mean, oftentimes people talk about being able to secure all the outer tier 2 towers. With the strength of VP right now, it feels like LGD can potentially do that, but I don't think that they're willing to back down from a fight if they have Black Hole.
Yeah, the benefits they have is that no one hasn't quite finished up that Shadow Blade yet. That's going to be very threatening when it's done. But if they try and push into these tier 2s, there's so much split push that's going to come out. You saw what happened with just an Enigma. No one can do the same thing on these side lanes with the tree.
One of the downsides of these supports from LGD, very strong in lane, the Undying and the Vengeful Spirit, but not the greatest outspam. Wave of Terror's gotten buffed a lot, but it's still not in the same league as something like a Rubik or a Coddle. But nonetheless, it is going to be, again, a lot of Virtus Pro grouped together, and it's going to be a Crimson Guard pickup for Pasha.
Yeah, PSG LGD have already slowed their roll quite a bit here. Well, no, and he's going to keep going fast, though.
They find themselves X-Nova. They creep in the area, could have gone for the stomp, but they are just going to back out yet again, drop in the tombstone, secure the retreat. Solo? He's going to be able to get ran down now as well. Somnus in the Reaper side, he is out of there for 45 seconds.
That was Solo, assuming he was a full rotation from PSG LGD, trying to use a 5-man Aegis and thinking he could just steal the bounty runes. And he believes there's a ward there, but not quite.
So Storm Spirit going back for this Bloodstone after the Kaya. We've occasionally seen Orchids as well. What do you think it is in this game that he's feeling like he wants to go for the Bloodstone?
Well, he had the Orchid queued up, and wanted to jump on top of these guys, trying to help target down this Enigma as well. I'm thinking about this, but without everyone here, I don't think PSG LGD want to engage. The idea here, I think, is, again, just slowing that roll. Just kind of relaxing a little bit here, trying to get this Bloodstone up, and then win a couple fights from there and use that to then go into the Orchid. You already saw, like, when they were struggling, if he doesn't get caught up by a Black Hole on the sidelines, like, he basically hasn't fought since that regen run, it feels like. You know what I mean? Like,
kind of just been collecting farm around the map and securing themselves the runes. There is going to be an X. Samus showing up now to this fight, and a good Electric Vortex, able to create a little bit of space. They're going to swap back up, but they do burn through that Aegis. The Soul Assumption making it happen, and Pasha so tanky. The Black Hole lands on a 3, and maybe coming back in. Can they turn this back around, though? They're already losing so many on VP, but they got the Fiend's Grip. They're able to take down the Storm Spirit through the Aegis the second time through. Zombies are absolutely everywhere on the map, but no one blinks in, trying to take down FY, and there's going to be the toss. There's going to be the kill. They buy back on the Undying, as Solo has continued to just be hampered in by all of these undead beings chasing him out. But Chalice, has he gone too far now as well? There's going to be another toss. The Ghost Shroud keeping him alive. They bring down Solo on the side.
Oh, Ramsey's just barely out of mana there. Might have had a chance to fish him off there, but this time VP were not able to focus on the Tombstone, and you saw the effect there on the Undying. Just able to help them win a fight that looked very dangerous from the start. In the end, it will be a network game for the side of Virtus Pro because of the buybacks, but they at least held their tower. They're going to hold on to their jungle for a bit longer, which is pretty important in a draft strat because you're always watching Ame just constantly rotating around this jungle, staying out of vision, and trying to boost up his allies as they go for the split push.
And again, it's taking a look at this replay here. these little moments where it's so much initiation and counter-initiation when maybe goes in and creates that chaos, anticipating he can find the kill, but they hold the black hole until after the Aegis.
Yeah, at that point there was just nothing left in the tank.
Oh, so well done. And again, it sort of just feels like two people slamming their faces into each other in these fights.
I think that's the play for Virtus.pro, though. They don't want to give any sort of a reprieve right now to this draft strat. Try and keep the pressure up on top of them as much as possible. I will say, LGD seem to be doing a very good job of split pushing across this map, considering the heroes they have. I feel like VP maybe should have a bit of a better edge there in terms of split push, but it's really just the threat of maybe, because they haven't been giving away those free kills to the Storm Spirit, which you often see in these games. So VP giving that respect that's required over to maybe, and in that reasoning, I guess that's why they're able to just keep up this pressure, even though they were a little bit behind in that time period. But now becomes the time where you need those most important of team fights for the Storm Spirit. Do not want to just get bursted 100-0 with a fresh Bloodstone.
And I mean, as this game goes on longer and longer, how do you sort of see this type of thing working out? Is there a team that you feel like inherently has a late game advantage? I mean,
it's pretty hard to argue against the old Tiny, Enigma, Kunkka. I feel like they have a humongous combo potential, and you have a Storm Spirit that, because he's gone for this Bloodstone first, the BKB is so far away. You don't want to just go Bloodstone, BKB. His team needs that Orchid. And with that reasoning, I believe that they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here, especially once these items start coming from Virtus.pro. Unless they can keep up this pressure, getting the next Aegis is the most important thing for LGD.
They do have, right now, just about 2.5 minutes until it's capable of respawning. And a regen rune, scattered out down bottom. Solo takes that one. Going to deny that away from a Storm Spirit. We saw we could get done with it earlier. And as you mentioned, just constantly send Pasha down here to this bottom lane. It's really hard to deal with this push.
Yeah, he's basically just playing that kind of classic Beastmaster style that we saw for a while. He just built into a Crimson Guard, didn't focus too much on the black hole. He's just constantly getting Eidolons, using his helm to scout it around him, push the wave, and creating split push opportunities like this because they know that someone wants to answer this. Oh, no one has to go top.
They got the grip. He went in with the DD1 to get some split push going to their own, but now he's going to get punished heavily solo. Able to punish the Storm Spirit. And how is his Bloodstone?
5-man rotation. I think VP have identified how they're going to win this game.
They know what they need to do. Man, a crazy rotation, and Solo making the plays. Somnus is back on the map quickly, but does not feel great about losing those charges.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he wound up on the high ground against a Bane without an Orchid or something, trying to go for that kill. Seems very greedy, and clearly he was punished for it. Oh, they're going to smoke right under this ward. They had full vision of that, just them milling around the trees, suddenly they disappear. Do they want to try and camp a high ground with the black hole? Do they want to try and bait someone on this mid-wave? You can see Solo are drawing the lines here, saying they either went this way or this way.
Where are we going to stand to try and break the smoke? It's Solo that's going to run into FY right at the start. They do get a swap there. Nightmares himself realizing, I don't want to be here anymore. And now the turn onto maybe Reaper's Scythe onto one. The boat's going to be there. It's onto two. But maybe does get out for the moment. Can they find anything else here? LGD hungry for kills, and Chalice chasing with all of these zombies around. They're going to try and escape. Pasha realizing everybody else has abandoned Chalice. And they've also got the sleep over onto the side for the Undying, so they're going to find a kill onto the Necrophos. Chase for more. They want to kill no one, but they don't have vision. They can't find him even with the Remnant. And X-Nova still living here. Ame being chased down as well, one by one. VP pull them down and continue to assert dominance here in this game at #1 upper bracket. X-Nova, no chance.
Marvelous team fighting coming up from Virtus.pro right now. That forward vision alerting them to the smoke that was coming their way. And they will take another successful team fight with just the buyback of the Bane being used. And excellent communication from Virtus.pro too. You could see the way they were focusing down that tombstone this time because it gave them a lot of trouble in that fight last time at the bottom. And in this engagement, Ramsey just sent the birds on it. And there was one soul rip used, but that was it.
And I mean, it keeps on feeling like in these chaotic fights, it's LGD that will sort of spread out, and it feels like sometimes Virtus.pro are able to isolate one of the heroes a little bit more effectively. Not sure how it is that exactly you want to try and take these fights if you're LGD. Is there any key target you need to focus on at the start?
The key hero is Maybe, and in the last two fights, in that fight in particular, he had lost almost half his mana pool, and he just zips into a boat and gets stunned. So he instantly has to retreat, and then he zips back in, and he's not having any impact on these engagements, and they need him to. It's as simple as that. But he's having a hard time because he's trying to play around this black hole and randomly get hit by a boat.
hurts. Chalice.
Oh, that grip.
Oh, he put his arms up there.
Send him in.
More. They got him, and Solo's like, no, never mind. Don't put me here. I'm going to back out again. At the more macro state of the game, we're taking a look at 2 Tier 2 towers still remaining for LGD, with 2 on the same side of VP left alive. Although bottom lane is being sort of pummeled a little bit. It's down fairly low.
Yeah, despite what feels like pretty big fight wins for the side of Virtus Pro, they haven't really amounted to any sort of massive lead. The scan will connect, shows they are heading into the Roche pit. And this is the one that both teams really vying for, but I think is even more important for LGD. They're not going to get here. FY just might give himself away.
Throws out the wave of terror, gets the vision, and VP, that's enough to scare him off. At least for the moment, but they find Ame. There's a good gust onto several. Pasha looking for the black hole. He gets it onto 2. Chalice trying to save his allies, if at all possible. The boat buff is going to be there, and the ship lands on X-Nova, finding the kill. They're calling out their chances. FY also going to be ran after. VP are feeling good, and why not?
Yeah, and once again, where's maybe? Can't do anything.
It's just such a tough game right now for the Storm Spirit. He wants to try and find no one here. If he can get a solo kill, this is pretty nifty. But the rotation comes in from the Enigma, and
I mean, he just looks at him and says, oh, you don't have dust? Like, okay, there's a sentry around here somewhere, but other than that, what's the problem, right? And we go back and secure the Roche pit.
VP, 4,000 gold lead now, 29 minutes into this, and they do give that Aegis to the Visage, who's been able to pick up an Aghanim Scepter now, on top of every other item that he's got in the game.
Yeah, he's got the pipe, we got the Crimson Guard built on the Enigma early on in the game, so the whole team looking good, and in the pit, and the way they do just retreat, because they know they can beat you. In a full 5v5 flat ground, they're still going to win, so why would we want to fight in the Roche pit? It's going to be a disadvantage against the Tombstone, and this black hole, nothing to cancel it. And by the time it is canceled, it's just too late, and we just have Ame sitting on maybe sitting on the side of the fight.
And how many times have we seen Pasha get these multiple man black holes with no blink dagger? You know, he only has brown boots. That's his mobility item right now, but he's making it happen consistently.
Yeah, just a situation where they're also kind of initiating into Virtus Pro. Like, they're the ones that you would say need these fights more, I guess, from the side of Virtus Pro, like these big 5-man engagements, and LGD are giving them those engagements, but Virtus Pro are choosing where they fight, and not leaving the Roche pit was a great idea.
30 minutes, bounty runes traded off yet again. It looks like pretty much all of them went into the favor of VP. X-Nova able to secure one of those ones. Where do you go now? I mean, VP again. You talk about them feeling comfortable going to the later stages. Do they want to try and like shut down the map now as well, or are they comfortable just trading off half of it?
We have the most important pickup is definitely the fact that we have that Orchid, right? Like, maybe he needs to just try and find some kills. He needs to build this Bloodstone up to a point where he's going to be a real threat, and he needs to farm his way into. I assume. It's hard to tell. Like, do you even go BKB? You probably have to go Lincoln's up against the Kunkka and the Bane, but that doesn't feel good either. So he's got some tough decisions to make. I'll be curious to see what he does.
The unfortunate problem is that everybody from LGD was on the other side of the map as Virtus Pro are starting to push towards the Tier 3 tower. Somnus jumps forward. This tower is down to 200 HP from what it was before. Drow is split pushing top while this is going on, and they are going to force back Virtus Pro.
Yeah, Ame knows how this game is going. He's starting building towards the Aghanim Scepter, which is not an item we see very often on the Drow Ranger, but might be warranted in this scenario because it's probably not that long until they lose a set of racks at this pace.
Again, VP feeling very good as they're up 6,000 gold lead right now against one of the top DPC performers of this year in PSG LGD. Around a 15,000 XP lead as well. And every time you walk in through the jungle, like, it maybe could potentially just get taken off. The X-Torrent combo is really hard to deal with. I mean, as long as it gets timed perfectly. It's a Lotus Orb for the Necrophos, as again, Ramses will start to threaten high ground a little bit.
Yeah, VP just giving no quarter right now. Full on press.
Ramses, the Grave Chill. To keep the pressure on with the birds. This tower is taking so much damage, and I mean, they can potentially just secure this without having to commit a hero, it feels like.
Yeah, I'm sure no one's thinking about going in there right now.
Oh, they're definitely doing it. And the toss out, challenge, maybe a bit too far forward. They swap him in, which means FY might be the one that gets punished instead. They have the X, they have the Torrent, and they're going to most likely have the kill. The Tombstone's up on the high ground. That keeps them away for the moment. Maybe with the commitment, can't really find anything. So tower down, easy peasy for VP.
Yeah, dangerous play there at the end, but he orchids up on the solo, so he won't get caught, and looks like he's going in towards a Shiva's guard. As kind of talking about, like, the BKB and the Lincolns neither feels good in this game. It's just kind of pointless, so he's going to try and tag up a different way, as well as adding some offensive capabilities to his team, plus trying to push these waves out.
You can see that win probability has shifted a lot in the last.
I'm shocked it's that close.
Well,
it does not feel like that.
It feels like VP is very much in control of this one. 7,000 gold lead. We still do have about seconds left on the Aegis.
It looked like a Tombstone, basically. I think he took less hits than Tombstone, actually.
Oh, no. That doesn't feel good. They still have the Aegis, too. Like, VP are just going to be able to continue to run at them. Have the Spear Vessel down. Chalice's not going to be able to get the regen. They do swap in one. So FY able to save his core for the moment. That's what you need to do. But with the DD there on no one, these towers are just paper.
Yeah, to his credit, though, maybe he's keeping it going. That constant pressure in the top lane has something for VP to think about, but they can just send solo. And now will he go for a solo kill? No, he's zipping out. Respect to solo this time, it seems.
Yeah. Last time around did not end so well. Solo with the 3 salves in his inventory. 4-man's earned.
It's okay, that's what Roger's for.
Exactly. Well, VP, Aegis going to expire. It already has expired, so now going to try and look towards that next Roche, I would imagine, to try and go for the high ground. If you're LGD at this point, how do you set up for that fight?
I think you want to try and get some vision around your shrine and along around Roche. See if you can catch VP coming in to try and secure that. And most importantly, is trying to get some vision in these smoke areas on the dire side of the map, where everyone tends to group up before invading into your territory. But how do you do that with this lineup, right? Are you just going to wander in as 5, hoping you can find a good spot? Looks like they'll go with at least 4. They have Ame running in to the bottom lane.
Yeah. They did scan out Virtus Pro, anticipating the smoke rotation that was coming. And as we saw a little bit earlier, maybe he was able to secure a good ward up on the high ground by the dire jungle. That gives some good vision around where this fight is most likely going to be happening. So at least for now, PSG LGD having a decent vision advantage around this area, and that's the start.
Yeah, X-Nova's going, and he wants these anti-smoke wards. It's a dangerous play, but it looks like it's going to work out for them, as they have correctly predicted the movements of Virtus Pro to the bottom half of the map. And nothing's scouted here from VP, so they won't know these are down.
It's the beginning, potentially. We do have not quite level 15 yet on that Undying, which can sometimes make a pretty big difference in these team fights. The Tombstone on death. Might be looking towards that one as well. And in the meantime, as mentioned earlier, the Aghanim Scepter is completed for the Drow Ranger.
Okay, we're starting to catch up a little bit here. Let's see if that'll be enough for Ame to just get a ridiculous amount of farm and actually be able to engage in these team fights. Again, the same problem occurs for him, where BKB doesn't feel that incredible. I think the best defensive option they've actually built is that Lotus Orb on top of the Necrophos, using that for maybe so that he can't be targeted down by the Fiend's Grip. Was a very good solution here from our Necrophos.
Still don't have a great answer for Black Hole, but that's what I guess the Venge is for as well.
At that point, it's all on him. He's going to try and build into the Aether Lens, and he almost has it. Use that to extend the range of our Venge for Spirit.
Yeah. And even if you do happen to not be able to break the Black Hole from the Enigma, you can still go for swapping out your Storm Spirit potentially. So there are still answers, even if you don't have the greatest range.
So they just watched this courier fly on in. They saw these items. They just saw that smoke. So the aggressive wards were successful here from the side of LGD. They're going to know this is coming. Solo's drawing his own line. We'll see if they can respond here from LGD and try and take a fight on their own territory, their own terms, that is. But looks like it's mostly just run away.
Yeah, and just hide off on the other side of the map. Storm Spirit is pushing down bottom. They are going to be able to pressure this tier 2 tower. And it does look like put themselves in a position to take down the shrine as well, and that is so important for these Roche fights.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, even the birds can just handle it.
Yeah.
So little commitment and zipping in while TPing out, perhaps.
Storm Spirit just zips out, as you said, TP's away, fine and dandy. Roche still about a minute away before it respawns now. And that should give VP time to get back into the vicinity. God, no one is just so far.
Yeah.
Has the cheese, has the AC still.
Ramses as well, right? Like, it's the Scythe hero on the Visage. You don't really need a mobility item because you're just this fleet walking through the fight. If anyone dares approach you, you just give them the Scythe, pipe up your team, send the birds after them. He has the armor as well from the Ogre Frostmage, just helping out his team when necessary during these fights.
Be a bit of engagement coming through here. Ame revealing himself. They are still smoked up on the high ground. The Remnant is down as well. VP, they're walking right into all the vision in the world and maybe going right for the initiation as well. Oh, the black hole gets on to nothing. Pasha can't make it happen, and now LGD potentially has an opening here. No one. There's going to be the Abaton's play. They drop down the boat as well. It's still looking okay for VP. They're trying to bring down one. Can they kill him off in time? FY is going to die. They're buying back onto immediately back into this fight, but they have the X onto Ame. The Tombstone is up on the high ground and maybe trying to create some chaos. He's doing a good bit of work, but down to very low HP. They're tearing him apart. VP is starting to die. They kill off yet another chalice, making it work. Can they kill him off? Silence for the Visage. Ramsey is going to die. They're dead forever.
Maybe found his moment. He baited out that black hole flawlessly, and then the team turned. The buybacks had to be spent, but it's so worth it at this point. That's going to be a 3,500 gold swing and an Aghanim's Drow that gets another 1,700 gold added on top. They march straight down that mid lane for the tower, and they're in position for this early Roche spawn.
This is huge. Big turnaround for them, and oh my god, he's feeling it now. Wanting to find a kill here onto the Kunkka. They force out the buyback from Enigma. What is he going to do? They have the boat, though. There's going to be the buff to keep him alive, but Nova shows up as well, and they've got more than enough damage to secure that gem.
Never doubt Dota Plus. That's what I'm learning here.
They don't have buyback, Trent. They are losing this tier 3 tower. The only heroes alive are the Enigma and the Bait, and they're calling for the tier 4 towers. PSG, LGD, they smell blood, and they're coming hunting. GG is called.
No one.
Are you kidding me? No one. It was not there, and LGD sees their moment.
One fight was all it took for them. Maybe just so perfect. After such a difficult game, struggling over and over, and the look, it says it all in Solo's face. What just happened?
I don't know. I do not know what happened. That was... Again, it's these moments where you think that you have an opening, you think that you're going to be able to just secure it and run over it, and it just falls apart in an instant. No buybacks.
Sometimes you see these teams, they just first pick this Drow hero, and you're like, I don't know about that. Is that Drow hero really this good? Well, she can do that to you. She can just take the entire base, take the entire game in a fraction of a second. One slip up, one single mistake after such a great game from Pasha, and it was it.
My God. Well, an unbelievable performance there from LGD. The presence of mind to just stay strong throughout it. The Aghanim Scepter picked up by the Drow Ranger ended up being exactly what they needed. But with that, we're going to head back to the panel and see what they thought about that fabulous game.
And it was a fabulous game, wasn't it? What a way to start things off in our second quarterfinal of the upper bracket. LGD with the support inside the stadium as well, I have to say. The cheer after that game was enormous. Virtus Pro with it all to do. Gents, a very abrupt end to the game. It's kind of like VP were like, shit, we know this is done.
Yeah, taking a little bit of breath. It took us a moment to get back here. We had to jog over, but...
You right? Are you calm?
I mean, that game was a little weird still, right? Because it started and all of us were looking like, damn, LGD's draft is unbelievable. The lanes are so strong. Pretty much really hard for VP to come back in it. Then LGD made crucial mistakes. VP gets this lead, and even when VP had this like 8k gold lead, we see the win percentage pop up. Still pretty even. One little mistake from Pasha.
Yeah, and the team fights were great, weren't they? Felt like they were very even if sometimes it traded 4-2 or 3-1 or whatever. Still felt like it was quite even throughout that game.
Yeah, VP just had tons of damage output with all the damage amp coming out from the Visage, all the birds everywhere. But once those fights kind of drew out, they killed off the familiars. The fights kind of swung the other way. Storm suddenly didn't really have any counters when the black hole wasn't being used on him. He just had free mobility around, and very good game from Maybe.
Yeah, what was the BKB black hole at the end? What was that? Because that was. It looked like for a moment it was like, oh, that's bad, and then suddenly Virtus Pro started winning the fight, and then they lost the fight.
I mean, it was just like really a sentiment how far they were ahead at the time. Yeah. Like maybe pretty much the single-handedly won the game there by making him waste Black Hole and BKB. But even after that, VP still won the fight, and they had to buy back 2 heroes to even fight against VP.
But then that fight was the crucial end in the end.
It was.
I think one of the casters said it. That's what Drow can do to you. Yeah, that's true, right? It can win games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Very impressive performance from LGD as well.
Yeah.
Does this dent them enough? Or is this a 3? We always said this was going to be a 3-game series.
This is a 3-game series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that even like the little mistakes from both sides, like LGD made some crucial mistakes, then VP made that one enormous mistake that was, I mean, LGD capitalized on it, but yeah, this still looks like it's going to be a 3-game series.
Going to get some more from all three of you in just a moment, but why don't we check in with Shiva, who is here, of course, to host some games a little later on in the lower bracket, but also is going to tell you how you can get involved at TI8.
Exactly, because I am here for you guys, just for you. I am here to answer all the questions you've ever had about anything, really. If you want to ask a question, if you have a burning question, hashtag TI8Scoop is what I will check, and I will find the answer. I will get to the bottom of it. I already tweeted out a couple of days ago a question for questions. And I got some that were mostly personal, but I figured, you know, just an example of how I'm going to do things, here they are. So one of the questions was, do I still get nervous? Yes, and I think I speak for everyone. Everyone gets nervous. It's the type of anticipation nervous, you know, the good type that gives you the energy. The other question was, how can we have meet and greet with your favorite players, with your favorite commentators? You can just follow the Dota 2 Twitter, and you'll get informed of all of those. For example, I know that Paul actually has a meet and greet later today, I believe. So that will be very exciting. And another question was, you know, that someone had some friends that don't normally watch Dota. I just want to know, like, what can I tell my friends that don't know what's going on the screen? What can I tell them? Where can they watch it? There is actually a newcomer stream, and that is on twitch.tv/Dota2TI_newcomer. So that is very easy to follow, and it will have everything explained properly, and you'll be able to watch Dota with your friends in a couple of days, because that's how fast they'll learn it all. But yeah, hashtag TI8Scoop. Ask me the questions. I'll get to the bottom of it. I'll find the answers. And there's one more question I have, and that one is for Paul. Paul, how are you doing today?
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? No, I'm doing very well, Shiva. That should be called, like, the Shiva Oracle segment. She can start at anything. I like that. I think what she actually meant was she's going to go and find people. Like, you know, if you ask a question about Maybe, I think she's going to actually hunt Maybe down until she's got the answer out of him. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that as well. Another man who is part of our broadcasting. We saw him earlier on. He's messing around somewhere. He's got to be out there messing around again. Is Sir Action Slacks. What are you up to?
Hey, Red Eye, what am I up to? Woo! I'm watching that game with these fans in here. What a game, huh? LGD coming through. Let's hear it out for LGD. But I have a special treat for you, Red Eye. We've been in here for about a week in Canada, and I found some real Canadians here to teach us a little bit about their culture and their language. So, names and where you're from.
Toronto.
That's not a name. What'd you
Oh, South Canada. I was like, where are we from? Oh, Paul.
All right, Toronto. What about?
I'm Alex, and I'm also from Toronto.
Toronto, too.
Sean, I currently live in Whitehorse.
Okay, what's your address?
I'm Robert from Vancouver.
All right, fantastic. Now, gentlemen, give it up for these true-blooded Canadians. Now, I want to know a couple things. I've been hearing stuff since I've been here, so what is a hoser?
A hoser actually means a loser. When a team loses a hockey game, they're the ones who have to hose down the ice after. So VP in this case, they're the hosers. They're the hosing down the ice.
Unnecessary, but hilarious. Thank you, sir. What is a sorry? I've been hearing that a lot.
Sorry?
Oh, not a very good Dota term. You know, not in the community. Usually when you set a teammate up to die, you say sorry. You don't spam ping them.
So you hit him with a sorry. So sorry about that game as well, VP, then.
Oh, maybe.
All right. And what's up with A? How come everybody says A around here?
It's just something people put in the end of the sentence. Like, A.
All right, well, the Fawns from Toronto. Thank you, everybody. Old reference there. But all right, well, can you bring us back to Red Eye with a real Canadian-sounding sentence?
Back to our buds in the booth, eh?
I have no idea what he said. Thank you, Red Eye.
Perfect. I love it. Hey. Like, The thing is, I'm learning as I go along. I spent a week in Vancouver. I have to say thank you very much to the City of Vancouver and all the people here, because you've been great all week looking after all of us that have been here, eating in all the restaurants and going all the sorts. It's been fantastic. Really good experience. So we're really enjoying ourselves in the City of Vancouver. This week, we're inside the Rogers Arena all week, so we're not going to see many of you outside, but this is the place to be right now. Well, 1-0 if you're just joining us in our second quarter-final of the upper bracket. Our gents are back on the panel once more. We've got 2 former TI players and a veteran of the TI broadcast alongside with Gods, Black and Fogged. What?
I was expecting you to flame us right afterwards.
Come on now. Trying to be nice, eh?
Yours is too much emphasis.
Oh, is it?
I think yours is very hidden.
I'm learning.
You don't even notice it.
I'm trying to learn. It's a lovely country. I do like this place a lot. Anyway, we're heading to game number 2. You said this is going to be a 3-game series. Like, even before the series started. Has anything in that first game persuaded you differently?
Just the draft in particular. I think LGD's draft overall just looked way stronger than LGD's. Alright, sorry. LGD's looked stronger than VP's.
Yeah.
But I think... I really thought VP would be hiding stuff, right? Like I was talking about before from the group stages, and this came out, and that I saw the same stuff kind of that I saw from group stages from VP. So a little scared, but I still think we'll have to begin.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? As the players do make their way back to the main stage and enter their booths for game number 2. Black, VP stick with what they know. I mean, they've got such a wide range of styles of play, not just wide range of styles of heroes that they play.
I think they just had a minor slip up in the draft that made it very unfavorable for them. But I still believe in that game they actually showed the better Dota.
Yeah.
Even with an inferior lineup, they outplayed them a lot and almost managed to win the game. So I think if they keep playing like that, both teams, I have to favor VP.
Yeah, I mean, Gods, do you agree with that? Do you feel like, had they had a slightly better draft, it would have led to a Virtus Pro victory?
Yeah, I think for majority of that game they played better, but the key part of LG's draft was the ease of execution. They had more room for error. That's the nature of their draft strat, whereas VP, playing with their draft, had to play perfectly, and they couldn't quite do that. I'm kind of concerned for VP. I don't know if I share the same, willingness to believe in VP, because this is a team that historically has not done well at TI. It's kind of the monkey on their back. They've dominated throughout the year. Even last TI, they came in as one of maybe the top 2, top 3 teams and had a disappointing TI. I'm worried. They look pretty defeated with the way they lost that game. You could see it on Solo's face, and I gotta imagine the nerves are getting to these guys.
Yeah, when you talk about curses and also, I don't know if I necessarily believe in the curses side of things, but there are some organisations who just don't seem to do well in certain tournaments, and Virtus Pro and TI is not a combination that has gone well together over the years. They've had 3 previous appearances here. 2013, they were 13th and 16th. Obviously a very different lineup to the one that we have now. 5th and 6th in 2015 with what we call the real first iteration of the team. And this second iteration, 5th, 6th last year as well. That's not a good record for a legendary team and a legendary organisation that is used to winning tournaments.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like this one is just TI changes something up. Maybe playing in this side of the map, right? Instead of playing in the usual areas where they're winning all the rest of the tournaments in Europe and China, now they come to North America and they can't take it.
But they win a lot of summits.
This is true. That kind of knocks out everything I just said. But
all right, well, we'll move swiftly on. They can fix that in post. It's fine. We can fix that in the edit. Is there anything to these curses? I mean, we're talking about it's an even year, so China have got to win this one, and all those kind of things. The streaks. Is there anything to it? Is it just all part of the scene?
I think it's part of the fun, but there's maybe a small little bit to it.
Right.
It's particularly with some countries there is a bit of pride and national pride to it. So for China particularly, it's like they lose one year, they want to be that much more motivated to win it next year. And then I think there's some players who have that curse. Ortiz a good example. He's an amazing skilled player, but doesn't always play the same game at TI. I think there's other examples you can look at where often the pressure will get to them.
Yeah, a Canadian on home soil, nonetheless, here as well. And a man without a TI title to his name. I think there's plenty of pressure on his shoulders, although I'm sure he'll cope with them fine. From LGD's point of view, they're going to look back on that first game, but that's going to give them a bit more confidence, isn't it? They look back at it and they think, yeah, we thought we had the measure of them. That just confirmed we can beat them.
I think they definitely know they can beat them, but they have to really fine-tune their play. They made a lot of unnecessary mistakes that looked kind of like they were just overconfident, honestly. They just run in one by one and just give away their advantage. Like, if they have an even draft, they cannot do this. They cannot afford to do that. So I hope they just, shape up their play next game.
Yeah, They've played very well together, haven't they, throughout the group stages? And I think we saw that towards the end of the season and in the DPC as well. Have you seen that in that first game? Is it continuing to feel like they're grouping up well? They're actually listening to what each player's telling them?
Yeah, I do think that they are listening. I just think, like Black said, I think a big thing for LGD is overconfidence. Because I got to do a bunch of the group stage games. Is when they had like a 12 to 15 gold lead, 12 to 15k gold lead. That's when they really started goofing around. To be honest, that's not maybe like
kind of worry for them, don't you? In those situations, you like, they're not like the VP when they're playing with their food. You kind of. It's an inevitability they're going to win the game, right?
It looks like a little bit more of the individual.
It does. It makes you worry a little bit for them, doesn't it?
Yeah. So they need to crispen that up. I do think that, they can't make those type of mistakes if they don't have this strong of a draft.
Okay. Talking about that draft, I think we're going to start this game right now, so we'll get some thoughts from you in just a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Game number 2.
PSG LGD versus Virtus Pro. Game 2.
Okay then, game number 2, all on the line for Virtus Pro. They want to stay in this upper bracket. They want to face Team Liquid in the next round. Well, they'd like to play someone else, I'm sure, but they have to play Liquid if they want to go through to the semi-finals of the upper bracket. It does guarantee the winner of this series is guaranteed a top 6 finish at the International. And LGD, PSG LGD, are just one game away from doing that as we get into our second draft of this quarter-final. The chat was already coming out in my ears.
Of course.
I love it.
That was Pasha. Pasha or Roger, they usually do it in 2. And the fact that we know exactly what
it's fantastic. Here we go then. Into the draft of the early bands.
I think we can. I don't think those ones at the bottom are actually bad.
No, I think you can ignore the bottom 2 on the right-hand side of the screen. That's legacy draft from the last one, so you can ignore those.
So Tiny gets banned by VP this time, and Venge and Mirana are still left. So is the Drow Ranger.
They valued Tiny really highly. Then the first pick did, and now they banned it.
I think maybe it was that here. There's a Weaver pick. I think LGD's Tiny is really, really good. I think Somnus and Chalice have been beasts on the hero. So I think that might be why they're getting the respect, and that's why they took it in the last game.
Weaver first pick. I don't know how sold I am on that.
They take Venge right after then, right?
Yeah, they should. Makes a lot of sense.
Tell you what's interesting is there's no Necro ban. And the only reason I bring that up is because Virtus Pro banned it 14 times in the group stage out of 16 games.
I think they're getting more used to it. Like we saw even last game, they didn't ban it. Nope. They didn't ban it at all. They got 3rd pick, so it seems to be lower in priority than it used to be. Teams are getting more used to versing it. There's a lot more counters that are being figured out. We saw some Shadow Demons against it. We saw some more Bench before us getting banned was being played against it.
Even Spirit Vessel.
Got a bit of silencer action. We've seen some of this already.
Amazing hero versus Bane. Every time he grips anyone, you just go over silence, and the hero is practically useless in teamfights after that.
You also can't triple leap. If you get the last word on you, you pop your 1 leap, and you're silenced. You actually can't pop the further ones. It's a really obnoxious hero to play Mirana versus in most situations, and it complements really well with Weaver because you can just you skitter into the fight, you pop your global with the bugs, and that's where the minus armor starts kicking in right away.
But it's honestly just silence. Like almost every hero in the game hates playing, and the stupid curse and the last word. It's like just so annoying. And I think in this tournament it actually has become like a first ban and the first pick as well.
It's a very underrated aspect. You actually get the vision with the last word too. So
yeah.
Like you're ganking this hero like in the side lane, you know they're going to play around the trees in the fog. Well, you see exactly where they're going when you get it on them.
It's flying vision, right? Or is it?
It's like trap-ish vision.
It's kind of. I think it's just like an AOE vision around it. I don't know if it's flying.
I'm entirely sure you don't.
Might be. I mean, that's. Yeah, not too sure about that one. So they go for the Bane again though on VP, but they do open Mirana.
They ban out the Drow this time.
Yeah.
I think Drow in general is just very good against the Bane, and like picking into a Drow is always a very risky in my opinion. So this game should be way better for him, and of course they have the Mirana combo, sleep into arrow.
Yeah.
Pretty much kills either of those 2 heroes right now. What did they face is Void. Of course the Weaver counter #1 for me. Like there's no better hero against Weaver, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Like, every time you chrono him, he's dead.
You just remove the mobility out of the aspect of the hero, which is everything. Yeah. And they do it again. They're really committed on this Bane combo with the Mirana, and this is okay.
Wow,
that's a way to disrupt the combos.
It's really good. It's a really good hero against that.
It's against Bane and Kunk. It's amazing. And Mirana.
And someone gets 5-second arrow, someone gets X, someone gets grip. The Tusk is just fantastic there.
Yeah, it's a really strong pick.
And kind of forgotten too. I don't think has been seeing too much play in this tournament, has it?
I saw FY play it. I did get to see him play, and he was extremely farmed. And that game they set up with the Zeus, so they looked for like global ganks to enable this Tusk.
Very popular yesterday when I opened my Dota Kings as well. I got 3 Tusks.
Oh, okay.
If anyone wants to swap a couple. Huh?
Which MMR was that?
Sub 1K. No reply from the boys on the panel. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not been a massively popular pick so far.
So it's the Cormorana, pretty much.
9 games, 55% on Tusk so far.
55 for 9 games?
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's only a select few people that have been playing it.
Yeah.
Got banned 4 times as well.
I think it's kind of like a signature hero of some players. Like Windstrike played in both their games yesterday, a few days ago in the tiebreaker.
And the Wraith King comes back onto the board.
Very interesting, because I would consider both Tusk and Weaver to be quite strong against the Wraith King.
Yeah,
into Weaver, right? The mana burn.
Probably offlane Wraith King then, right? If you pick it like this.
Yeah.
Like it can't be a carry.
I think they want a safe, reliable, just straight stun to come in right now, because theirs are really relying on like landing a torrent after the Bane sleep and all that.
And then
they do a lot of
more
stun.
bit. Right.
Have you seen Pasha play?
Yes.
Pasha Mirana?
He was the Wraith King.
Yeah,
the Wraith King.
Yeah, he was one of the guys playing it a lot in pubs leading up to this event. Like, I was kind of saying, like, what heroes are people going to play based on the NA pub meta? He was spamming Wraith King.
Yeah, hasn't played it yet in competition here. The Wraith King last time Virtus Pro played was Ramses.
Well, he hasn't played Enigma either, but busting out all the new heroes now.
Oh. Yeah, he's now up to 14. 14 different heroes played, Pasha.
I'm pretty sure he just wants to snatch a top spot.
14.
That's
in 18 games.
Yeah.
This feels like a bit like VP going back to their roots. Like, get some stable comfort picks, and then just last pick Ramses. So give Ramses the win condition.
The Kunkka plus Wraith King could prove to be a little bit annoying. These 2 tanky frontliners, you throw a Rum on top too.
Terror Blade. Ooh. No. I love that hero.
Towers pushing.
That means it's offlane Weaver.
You know who else loves that?
Amy.
Yeah, Amy loves it.
Amy? How do you actually pronounce that? I don't know.
So for Terrorblade, something you can always do versus Bane is you can remove the sleep off of yourself, which is really convenient. Like if you have your illusion present, you can always take that quickly off of people. That can be very nice. And versus Wraith King, you get the aura for your team when you pop the reflection.
Yeah, and come mid-game, they don't really have any heavy burst damage against the Terrorblade either, so the Thunder will always come off pretty much. They have a global silence to make sure of that, and they have a snowball as well.
Played it twice during the group stages, 1 win, 1 loss.
So that means it's going to be Chalice playing the Weaver, and Ame playing Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Did Sumnus play Weaver mid before?
It was Ame on the Terrorblade last time, sorry.
Did he play Weaver mid already? Maybe?
They did not, no.
They did not?
They've only played Weaver 3 times, all of them on Chalice.
They banned Storm again. Gotta respect it, maybe Storm. They want to give him a last pick again.
It's annoying versus Kunkka and Bane. Even though your animations are slow, right? You've got to do your wind up before you get the lockdown initially.
What is a good Sumnus hero here? Like something like Dragon Knight, maybe.
I would. Yeah.
He's favouring Alina.
I think even
stage.
Yeah, Quap or Ember could be good. Something just a bit more flashy, a bit more explosive. You're likely laying against Mirana. Ember's pretty good against Mirana.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd like something to start the fight, because right now they're relying on like Tusk.
I would like the Ember or the DK.
Yeah.
Like Sumnus is one of the best DKs, right? Like he always gets really fat.
He gets really farmed. He farm prioritizes pretty heavily on it.
Yeah. I would just like to have like a tanky hero for them in the front lines, because right now they have Weaver as well as TB.
Yeah. They've got the saves in the global, but yeah, definitely. Especially because we assume this Weaver will go Aghanim's too. Because I think Chalice has done like Diffusal Aghanims most of his games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely on board with a maybe Ember anyway. His Ember is just amazing.
Do you know what he hasn't played in the group stage? Is an Invoker, which I find quite surprising, because a number of the mids have experimented through the group stage.
Man, we hoped for it too. We were casting a game that like one of the games that didn't matter so much depending on what they did have in the brackets, and they didn't bust it out. No, he picked Queen of Pain. We were like, oh, come on, man.
Well, that's also one of his signature heroes as well. And it is Link. Okay. Yeah, they go back for that. It's the most popular picked mid-4 maybe in the group stage.
It's just a bit scary if you go up against Mirana and any rotation comes in, you pretty much just die. Like, X mark into area dead, sleep into area dead. That's why I would have liked to see the DK. But I'm pretty sure the Tusk would just play around mid lane then and just protect them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are they going to pick for Ramses?
It also, this gives them, they've got like this nice like tower siege too that can also benefit off the bugs from the Weaver. Lina is this mixed damage dealer with the Terrorblade.
Yeah. A very, very hybrid hero. Now we have a lot of problems to solve for VP. What is it going to be for Ramses?
Yeah, it's like there's TB got picked up, which you have no counter for, but there's also Alina, who could have
a Weaver too.
Got to solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That last we're going to make up for a lot of weaknesses right now.
And when it's like your carry positions to make up for problems, it tends to lead to, you're in a tight position in the draft.
Yeah. Usually what you want to have when you have last pick, you want to have a very well-rounded lineup, and then your last pick is just like wins you the game. But I can't really see one particular hero right now that really does that.
Is that Breed back down?
Yeah, first phase.
They can be flexible, because there was actually a Tinker last ban, so theoretically, Wraith King could go safe lane, Morana could go off lane. It doesn't have to be a Ramsey safe lane hero.
That's true. Yeah, very true.
A lot of time being taken over this final one.
Alchemist.
Okay. That makes some sense.
So it's a safe
Alchemist to finish our draft off. Okay. Our heroes are known, and it's time to get the thoughts of Mr. BSJ, who's joined us on the panel. Sir.
I'm back for game number 2 here, and it feels like the whole time I saw these 4 picks, they needed a win condition for the side of VP. You guys are mentioning it, and Alchemist is a hero that struggles against Terrorblade in the mid to late game because of the sheer damage output that he provides, but Terrorblade's a hero that I feel like has been struggling in the laning stage and just doesn't quite get off to the start he used to. And so I'm honestly leaning towards VP's draft this time. I feel like they have 4 Space Makers, they have incredible Acceptors if they manage to get to that point in the game. And there's just going to be this race to collapse on this Alchemist farm in the mid lane, and I don't think that LGD is going to be able to shut him down. And we saw what happened in the first series today when you have an Alchemist that gets absolutely free farm.
Do you think the Reflection's going to solve the Alchemist problem at all, though?
It solves it mid to late game, but if you just come with 6 items, 25, 30 minutes into the game, Terrorblade does not dish out enough damage, and he doesn't have the level 20 yet, so it just doesn't threaten the Alchemist, and I think that if they can manage to get past that stage in the game, LGD will take it, but I'm going for VP.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. BSJ. Let's head over to our commentary team for game number 2.
Thank you so much, Paul, and the wonderful BSJ as well. Can't leave him out at all. But we know what the win conditions are. We know what the heroes are. After last game, you gotta kind of wonder, though, what's the mindset at right now for VP? This is crazy, Trent.
Yeah, where are you at mentally? I think near the end of that draft, too, you could see just how much time in that last pick and how it really looked like it had to be some sort of safe lane hero. But when I think of Ramses, like, saving a game, I look towards that Faceless Void. It had been banned out. Maybe something like the Spectre. Oh, that's banned out, too. It seemed like LGD had a very good read on the draft.
Yeah, and it is going to be no one playing it this time around. He put up his hood in the middle of the draft and decided, all right, this is what we're going to be running out here this time around. He wants to do the taunts, wants to feel good about himself, and they are, again, going to make that move that we saw last time down to the bottom side, see if they can find themselves a kill, possibly.
Yeah, with those Ramses heroes removed, it just means he has to go back to the Wraith King. I think you guys remember at the Super Major, I believe there was some talk to Solo about Wraith King. Just like, when do you pick it? And never.
Wait a minute, though. They found Ame right at the start, but there's a lot of bugs. There is going to be one from the rest of his team, and all alone, the King is taken down.
Well, Canada is north of the wall, but he was on the wrong side of it this time.
Oh, no.
30 seconds.
Well, you take a look at it now, and, not necessarily the way you want to start. Not the end of the world, though. I think that's one that you can kind of brush off, possibly. But you do have to sort of keep your eyes on the mindset, how these players are going to be playing in this one, as Chalice and FY are going to make their way to the top side map. So one thing that we did sort of see in the past is this matchup of Kunkka versus a Tusk. You want to talk to me a little bit how these position 4s battle off against each other?
Yeah, you saw the Tusk get picked up after the Kunkka. It's been a little bit of a common counterpick as well. Kunkka trying to make a play here for the Rune. Secured with Pasha down bottom. Nice combination of the Torrent and this lovely leaping Morana.
Ooh, and all 4. My goodness gracious, VP.
I guess that means the chat wheel starts a lot earlier. Once you get 4 bounty runes, you're good to go. But yeah, you just want to look for that snowball to try and stop that big combo happening. Try and secure your allies with that. And we heard the panel talking about, like, where's this tank for LGD, right? I mean, you're running first, you're showing a Weaver and a Terrorblade, so you're thinking, okay, kind of on the edge of the fight, in and out, lots of heavy damage. Terrorblade trying to be that standing tower, just mauling into the enemy team. But to me, now with the Lina being picked up, that means it kind of has to become Chalice's role, where he might even build into one of these earlier, like, Dragonlance and the Aghanim Scepter, possibly. He has to be the guy that has that tank role for the team.
as we just see Solo TP out of that danger up in the top side. So, yeah, we'll see if he's going to be able to get into that, those items that keep that Weaver that much more survivable. Roger, in the meantime, going to be doing what we've seen more and more often nowadays, pulling that creep wave back behind the tower and trying to deny out a good bit of CS. But with the silencer chasing him, he's actually forced to just take it through the river.
Chalice now.
It's in trouble.
Yeah,
he took those bugs. And instead, the shards from FY able to keep him alive, the salve up to walk away, and now Solo not able to secure the kill onto the Tusk.
Fantastic save there from FY. Chalice just really dangerous spot to be in with bugs level 1. Yeah, not the easiest for a Weaver. You really want that early Shikuchi to help secure range creeps with the heavy damage that it has, and so he'll be struggling until he hits level 2.
Meanwhile, down here bottom, X-Nova on a hero that's known for a lot of early game harassment, but it does feel like the kill potential is going to be there a little bit later on for VP on this combo that they love to run.
Yeah, and look how much gold and experience they're getting right now because of where they've gotten this lane. We noticed in a lot of the games during the group stage, the team's getting that Bane early. It means that you can stop this pull from happening where you secure the lane near your own tower. Nightmare is so good at stopping anyone from doing that irritating pull, and with it on the side of Virtus Pro, them and LGD had no real option with just a silencer.
And they are instead going to be able to find the other pull, which is the pull into the off lane, secure their lane equilibrium back into their favor. Looks like Chalice is going to come over, having gotten that level 2, and it's going to put the hurt to him a little bit. So yeah, things to watch
There's
out.
definitely kill threat on Solo here. He's playing very aggressively.
And the bugs are on him now. The shards, they go out. They don't last all that long, but with the Nightmare, the runaway, they're getting the body blocks in. Solo, once this Nightmare dissipates, he's going to have another round of Sakuchi, and FY saying, come and fight me. I want to battle with you, man. And they are going to deny. Hit him. No. Chalice finds the kill. My heart's beating a little fast after that one.
Yeah, when you're playing this Bane, you're trying to get trades going. You want to be very active in the lane versus your opponents, trying to abuse your brain sap, but clearly Solo just got a little bit too ahead of himself there. But it was a little bit of space for an unharassed Ramses to farm under the tower. They still trying to put the zombies onto the Weaver.
Doesn't really work that well with the snowball on him, and instead they're going to turn the damage back onto Ramses, the minus armor and the punches. They go out another Nightmare, but traded it over. Chalice also in the area, but the crit comes from Ramses. Get off me!
Well, the crit wasn't very effective on the bug on him, but on the bug skittering around, much better.
It's just one of those things with the Weaver, you know, not a ton of HP, a lot of survivability in other ways. The silence, so it won't hit onto the torrent, and that means there's no arrow either. Nice play by X-Nova.
Yeah, it's still just laying into Roger here.
Is Roger living? Oh, yeah, he's going to TP away. And the punch! We got him! X-Nova! Not giving up on the play.
That puts him now at 4 stolen imp. He runs right back into Pasha. Just rotated on over, trying to secure that 4-minute bounty rune. Or, sorry, 4-minute rune in the river. And looks like he will get it.
Got the new mount as well. Super pretty. Pasha will pick up the illusion and leap away from trouble. Going to TP out of there as well. 2 heroes forced to use this TP in the bottom lane. And
yeah, not what he's hoping for him. Yeah, you can see here the replay of our beautiful crit here. The bug on top, yeah, gives a little crit, but that bug shakes it off pretty well. Chalice, unfortunately, will do the same thing. Solo just constantly harassing through the entire fight with the Nightmare, kind of controlling up this Weaver, and boom, 200 damage.
Felt pretty good about that one. Oh, look at that smile.
Oh, no one in trouble here. Back in the game with the sun now going.
Turning now on the Somnus. They pull the snowball in further forward. Can they get alive? No. Somnus gets the kill on no one. That's great.
Yeah, excellent initiation from FY there. The way that he doesn't just go in with the snowball and use the shards at the same time. He's spacing out his spells there, waits until the concoction's being used, and then he can kind of play around that with the snowball, which is, honestly, even though the alpha's picked after, it's a very telegraphed stun, so it can be very handy to have a Tusk on your team versus it. Especially with how important it is now, where you go for this Radiance, then straight into the Blink on the Alchemist to try and be active with that cooldown time.
FY on the snowball onto Solo, needs to be careful. The Fairy Fire's there. They bring in another, and this might be some more damage. The Nightmare, the punches. FY is dead. They traded over the Nightmare, actually. Now Solo able to retreat. Chalice still chasing. Somnus has Laguna Blade. This should be a very easy pickup for them, but they lost Solo.
Yeah, long rotation for the Lina, though, so no one is just getting a little bit of room here to get level 6 for himself after this catapult. And he's even just going to run away, just staying in range, a little bit worried about any rotations here with that Laguna Blade being there.
He does get level 6 with that Cavity as well. has the Radiance eyed up for himself. And now 5-2. Still very even. It was looking really good for LGD, but a couple of solid moves, those rotations from the Bane, have put them back on a solid footing.
Yeah, pretty serious XP lead for the side of LGD, though. It's getting up. It's about 1k at the moment right now. Pasha just got into level 4 versus the level 6 Terrorblade, so not a lot to read on Ame here. He's still holding the point in case he gets ganked for the potential Sunder.
Ramses.
And likewise also holding 6.
Not wanting to make that play yet. Roger's going to get ran away yet again, and the shards block off. Nice play there from XY.
Where did this guy come from?
All right, apparently he didn't know he was there. The arrow from Marana, though, is going to keep Roger alive, just helping out a teammate.
Step lively now.
Good save there, but FY did get down some very deep vision. With the angle he returned back towards Roger, they might go scouting for that, but it's a pretty hidden ward. It's not in the typical deboarding area near the shrine.
Late strike rate connecting there onto no one. Threatening the kill always with that huge amount of burst damage that you've got on Alina if no one's stuck around for too long. But he's just going to head off, farm out the jungle. This is what the Alchemist wants to do, and we'll see if any heroes try to rotate to take over mid. It looks like, though, FY is going to come and contest his farm in the jungle here. This is not what an Alchemist wants, and Somnus has a Hasterin as well. They spot out no one. In trouble here as he does have his stun. Laguna Blade, everything thrown out. He turns the stun back around. Ramsey shows up now, throws out the Wraithfire Blast. They have the X as well with a follow-up Torrent. This might end up being a death maybe.
Skelly's finisher off there, and a bit too deep there. It's hard to judge a good Alch game right now after what we saw this morning. One of the best Alch games you're ever going to see. But even being this far ahead, about a 700 gold lead over the next highest hero, which is actually his own ally, no one's looking very good. I don't think it's quite as devastating as an Alch pick as our previous match, but Pasha, he's out of mana.
Trying to leap away. FY again, just back here behind enemy lines over and over. He keeps finding, if not just annoying somebody, then finding kills.
Completely owning this side of the map, and Roger just not really having the same impact right now. Sitting under a ward, just trying to help with some double stacks here for his Alchemist. Nice cute play here, but FY is going to ruin it by running up here, and that's going to secure the fact that there's definitely a ward there.
Yeah. We also saw Solo for a little while farming Ancients on the Bane with the bugs on him. Their Skeleton's still sticking around. So just getting whatever value out of the map is at all possible right here by VP. 8 minutes in, it looks like PSG LGD gonna farm up the stack that was lovingly made by Virtus Pro. Solo sees the Lina, and well, the Snowball also coming in, it sounds like. Over towards the side, they find themselves a catch here onto the Kunkka.
He's so far behind, he's gonna lose more in. This is hard on a strength roamer like this. Now 8 stolen for X-Nova, oh no!
The Nightmare Dodge. Is it going to keep him alive? Or are they going to be able to find the kill, rather?
This Invis rune.
They're turning it back around. Solo maybe in trouble. They try and smoke to run away, but the critter's there. Ramsey's able to turn this one. Chaos in the jungle as they're going to be able to find themselves Solo, and FY just trying to run away, but there is going to be an X, and it looks like they're going to be able to take down FY's
Maybe,
tusk.
though. Also caught at the Roche pit, trying to run.
I mean, he's still getting away from them for the moment. The punches are coming. FY making a lot of space, and eventually the Snowball continuing to make shots. Are you kidding me? FY, surely not. Oh, yeah, he gets brought down in the end.
Just narrowly getting the vision. He's making him work for it.
This is a very brawly game number 2. It feels like there's little tiny skirmishes happening all around the map.
Yeah, LGD are doing a great job of putting this pressure on the Alchemist territory. It's not a total free farm right now. He's not just getting away with everything, whereas Omnia kind of is. He isn't having to be involved very much at all. He's just down this bottom lane, going between the lane, back to the jungle, and even though he's 1,000 gold behind an Alchemist, that's an Alchemist, you know. He needs a little bit more.
Ramsey's getting very low, but does manage to escape. Caught there in the Moonlight Shadow. Chalice still trying to push a little bit. It looks like Roger is going to be able to get this ring, but there is a Sentry Ward. And now with Moonlight Shadow wearing off, Roger going to be ran at by this Tusk. There's also a Nightmare on the other side on the Terrorblade.
I'm sure if X-Nova had a TP, he would be here right now to steal this, but unfortunately he doesn't have one.
Torrent comes out. They also find another kill onto Pasha's. Chalice is going to secure this finish onto Roger. He's still trying to run away. Sakuchi to chase, and the punch.
And they killed Pasha way deep. up near the tier 2. He actually went down, chasing him the entire time that they were chasing after FY2.
Man, that value ward from the Tusk, it still remained there the entire time.
That was an excellent one to get, and they didn't even try a D-ward even after the play from FY to come and stop the stack happening from that camp right there. So VP just, a lot of the support's been playing from the top half too, so like there's not an opportunity for Solo to get down here and go for those D-wards, and at this point, you don't really want to spend 100 gold of your sentry to then miss the ward. And that ward is actually just spotted. That sentry was pinged out instantaneously. But
quite in range.
They might know there's an observer ward now too.
Well.
Yeah, I can see X-Nova pinging it. He knows there's one in this area. I think he's going to get it. Yeah, very nicely done. Great vision here from PSG LGD.
The warding game, X-Nova, again, the panel talked about it, one of these players that's been brought in and was able to help them secure the great DPC results that's led him to being in this tournament. Still making the plays here on the big stage as we continue to loom closer and closer towards this Alchemist Radiance timing. And stuns thrown out there into FY. He's getting very close, and it does have the relic already.
And Ramsey's also trying to get involved in this game. He's just going straight for the Blink Dagger after the ring. So he's getting a little bit of armor on himself, and then with a Blink on him, he'll help secure a couple team fights, hopefully, for the side of Virtus Pro. At least that's what he's thinking. And then that'll allow the Blink Dagger to be constructed on no one. And at that point, it's going to be quite the force just hopping on top of this Terrorblade.
Speaking of Terrorblade, him and Chalice are in the area and going to start to put the pressure onto this Tier 1 tower in the mid lane. All of the other Tier 1s having already been secured. LGD wanting to take advantage of this timing before the Alchemist really comes online. It's, you know, a lot of different timings that you need to hit in a game like this, but getting as much done before that out comes online is important.
Yeah, it doesn't require a whole lot for that mid tower either. Just the Weaver and the Terrorblade. Maybe just walks into the wave up top, and Ramses is forced to just run away. Doesn't really want to waste his ultimate. And he'll have the Blink Dagger now, so probably a smoke play coming here. In fact, it'll just be a Moonlight Shadow, but it's all around this Weaver.
They see Ame as well, able to find him. The Global comes out in response to that. Boat's still going to hit, but I don't know if they have the follow-up now with the Moonlight Shadow runaway. LGD, limited vision in this area. The Snowball save for the moment away from Ramses, and now chasing forward for more. Somnus is here as well. Chalice doing a good bit of damage. He might end up being brought down. They weren't able to find the kill there on the Wraith King. Solo making space for the rest of his cores to find themselves kills. And it's a bane for a Weaver. You take that every day of the week.
Yeah, Ramses.
Oh, wait, Ramses. Oh, that's just the ulti, but it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that good. He wanted to blink in, I think, and try and get the slow going so the team could follow up, but at that point, they're just running low on everything without a boat to follow. So, yeah, in the end, great trade, and had some good vision in the area there from the Dire side, helping to secure that fight. And as you said, they spent a lot on that Terrorblade, right? You're throwing a boat, you're throwing a Fiend's Grip, but in the end, it's still made enough space for them to get the more important kill on that Weaver. And that's Chalice's role, right, where he has to kind of be this front line and nuisance. It's a very tactical game right now from PSG LGD. They don't have this big brawler like a Dragon Knight or something. Just blink in and be targeted down. They have to play very carefully, using the Global Silence to cover for a bit, using the Weaver to try and distract and annoy, and then also using that time lapse for the secondary life on him and the Sunder for the secondary life on the Terrorblade. It's a lot of more, working parts here.
And Ramses does not have his ultimate for another 180 seconds. The snowball forward with all these heroes around him. He is going to be caught, and TP's away. Can they break it? It does not look like it. Chalice with the time lapse away. Rogers shows up. Xmark, are they really trying to take this fight without the raking? No, they're just buying space.
Yeah, maybe considering it just because it was post-time lapse and they still had the boat, but they will back away. The Shrine's up in 5 seconds. Could be a good fight for VP if PSG LGD force it.
They are looking like they want to force it. The Shards block up on one. It actually pushes him to the high ground, and they spot him out. Oh, the arrow. And unfortunately, FY did not manage to find that snowball to break the TP.
Okay, space though. Maybe just kind of shoves in the wave there. Farms a bunch of it. Alright, his Yule Scepter up in towards that Shadow Blade. Wants to be his own threat across the map. Because right now, Ramses has felt very comfortable just sitting on waves, pushing out pretty deep. Not a whole lot of threat to his life. If he goes down once, it's pretty hard for someone like Alina, for example, to kill him a second time. And they're going to smoke right under another ward here from LGD.
They find the stun. The boat's going to be there as well. The long duration silence, it's not going to connect. And now the secondary stun hits onto the Alchemist. They're trying to focus down no one. He is starting to drop, but there's the Moonlight Shadow. They have double dust for double the kill. Arrow going to miss.
What an incredible game of vision from PSG LGD. It seems like every single time they can just go in on that bottom lane because the Observer Ward is standing up.
smoking.
You talk about the vision, the sentry's down, ready for that potential gank. Everything, it's always there.
Yeah, they just have a complete read on what Virtus Pro are attempting to do in this game, and it means this Alchemist is now just 1,200 gold ahead of a Terrorblade. That is not enough to be feeling comfortable right now for VP.
And he is still in the grave for a little while now as Ame continues to loom as a larger and larger threat. The Dota buff win probability was right last time. But, you know, this is a tough one right now for Virtus Pro. How do they get their feet back under them? It's only 3,000 gold. Granted, it's, you know, with an Alchemist on your team, that you're behind that far. What do you do now if you're VP?
It's very difficult. They've got a pretty dumb Kunkka who's lost a lot of his int. You know, he's trying his best here, trying to read the instructions, but can't find him on that one.
FY, maybe this would be a good start. At least getting a kill onto this tough dust that's just been a thorn in their side.
He really has been. Very irritating. So, nice pick up for the side of Virtus Pro. Ramses will dance it off there. But if you look at, like, let's say they're going to dodge fights. Ramses went first item Blink Dagger, so he's pretty slow at fire. Only has a ring. You know, he just has to hit some Ancients. At least his DD rune will give him a hand. He needs to get in towards that armlet. And so all of this time for the Terrorblade, it's just this gap that's not supposed to be there. It should be so much larger for no one. And Ame just looks terrifying.
It really is just that monster. Well, maybe also getting closer and closer to the Shadow Blade. It does sort of feel like right now it's you would want to be, I guess, continuing to keep the pressure on a little bit with Virtus Pro. I guess that with the Alchemist Radiance now, he can try and just sort of fall back and farm. Is that the play?
Well, he looks like that's not going to work. He's actually eyeing up. Instead of that Blink Dagger to try and play aggressive and take fights that we've seen so much from these Radiants, Alchemists, he is to go for that route when you're a little bit behind, and he's going back towards that old Manta style, as he already has the Yasha picked up. And while he's hiding in the trees up top with his Radiance turned off, LGD are taking Roche. Yeah. So I don't think they have quite the same read on this game that LGD do.
Man, LGD gonna make it happen. They do smoke up now for Virtus Pro, but it might be a little bit too late as Roche is going to fall into the hands of Ame, and if they continue to take this fight, this could turn south very quickly. Yeah, and Solo decides we're gonna back up. Reset.
Yeah, but Roger's also waiting nearby because he wants to try and find just like one good pick. He is a Kunkka, you know, they can get this very long-range kill, back themselves away. They're going to attempt to do it with a Moonlight Shadow. Doesn't look like there's a sentry here.
He's running off, but yeah, again, they spot out that this could potentially be coming their direction. They shard the cliff, and then they back away. Very, again, disciplined play coming from PSG LGD.
Yeah, and every time you look at this 2K lead, you just have to remember there's an Alchemist on the enemy team, so this is worse than it looks.
18 minutes, the immediate D-ward. Can we say enough about X-Nova's warding?
I know. It's unbelievable at this point. Feels like VP cannot get any sort of a foothold on this top half of the map right now.
13-8. And Virtus Pro sending multiple heroes up to the top side. X-Nova still holding on to Global. They're walking right on top of a ward. They do not realize this as Chalice is ready to chase down if they so desire, but it does look like Solo is going to be left alone. Are they going to decide to go on him? I think they spotted that rotation coming as well. FY in the area. They're going to snowball for this kill and not able to do almost anything.
Another, oh, actually not a mouse, so he didn't get there in time from X-Nova, but now they can pressure in as 3 here. You have a Terrorblade farming the jungle. Evelina, who just picked up a Shadow Blade coming on the courier. Maybe could try and connect up top with them if they want to rotate down and grab a couple kills. But no real threat right now for LGD. They can just kind of relax here, knowing that they have this Aegis to play around.
So buy space for no one. Is that still just the game plan right now for Virtus Pro, if at all possible?
At some point, they need to fight, but it looks like Ramses is set on having that Blade Mail first.
Okay.
And that could be something that could turn this around, right? There's no BKB yet for the Lina, and maybe he's going to be building into it first, because he's starting to see that that's really the only option they have to kill him. Much better BKB game than last game for him. Only has the Fiend's Grip this time to worry about, no black holes, and he can take care of things like the Kunkka and the Mirana. Lots of magical damage, as well as what would be thrown back from that Blade Mail, so... A Yule Scepter forced out here for Pasha. Some way to deal with the silence, but it means that he can't really go into any sort of damage for himself. And they are going to smoke up here. This time, it won't be directly scouted necessarily. There was an illusion in the area from Ame.
Oh, takes that rune.
But the arrow's already gone.
No follow-up right now either. They realize where all of VP is, and that smoke not going to amount to a kill, it looks like.
And it looks like they just got all 4 bounty runes here to the side of LGD.
Clinical.
You definitely need that as an ALC team.
And no one wants to find the stun here on the Chalice time lapse. There is still an X that's going to catch him. The global is going to be there. The boat is still going to connect at the end of it. So they find themselves a kill on no one. That's the beginning.
Yes, very good to take down Chalice like that and give no one a little bit of gold. So keep those up. They want to keep the ball rolling. They're moving through. Solo has the Nightmare. He finds the correct one. This time we have the arrow, but he stops it.
Oh, the trade over with the Manta. Great play, and the snowball save as well. Following for more. Roger is going to die here, it looks like, as they do have the vision to take him down. X-Nova running away. The dual step to dodge. Still managed to hit there onto X-Nova, who is going to fall. Meanwhile, Gunablade out onto no one. Still jumping out of there. They can't get the Sunra up. He still does have the Aegis.
Solo found that big kill with the Fiend's Grip. Now coming back up. They will miss with the arrow, and they're chasing forward. They have the snowball.
Fly looking for that opening. It's just going to walrus punch Solo there. And the Light Strike Ray going to connect. Now, can they find any more? LGD looking to continue this.
Fly wants, and he throws a long bomb, but the Hail Mary won't connect. And they will just settle for this tier 2 tower. So it looks like with 5-acts and everything for the side of the Radiant, relatively even fight, but VP did take down that Aegis. Unfortunately, there was only about a minute left on it anyway. However, it is still just an instance where they're not falling further behind.
Only a 3,000 gold lead. 16 to 10. We're 21 minutes into this one, and what's felt like just a bloodbath. And it's continuing to seem like it's going to go that way. Chalice picking up the Diffusal Blade now. Running through mana of the Wraith King. Obviously really important. Make sure you can't get that ultimate off. And going for the BKB next. I mean, around these BKB timings, that's normally where teams try to want to end the game. Is that what they're looking to do for LGD?
I think it just makes sense with their lineup because they don't have that traditional frontliner that all three of their heroes have to buy this BKB. So it's not necessarily a requirement for going high ground so much as it is a requirement for just not throwing away your lead. And there's that Blink Dagger now picked up here for no one. So this is where they can try and get aggressive in sync with the Blade Mail. This is the best timing for Virtus Pro. Try and find some good engagements.
Solo. Revision. They go with the Nightmare yet again. The Shard's a little bit off the mark that time, and with the rotation coming from Kunkka, they will not commit any more heroes to this gank in the woods. And with Aegis having expired, already been used up in that last fight by Ame, it does feel like PSG LGD are going to be waiting for the next Roche before they really go for a big team fight. There's the lift up there. Arrow afterwards connects onto the silencer. Diffusal Blade out. No one shows up. Wants to take this fight possibly.
And they can't even finish the silencer. They're not sure what's happening on the side of LGD, but the reinforcements are actually quite far away.
They are showing up though, and X-Nova. All the illusions chasing him. Feels pretty bad right now to be a silencer, but
wait, he might get out.
Is he actually going to be able to walk away from this? Has a TP as well. And now Ramses is kind of in an awkward spot. Do they realize where he's at? The sigil? It spots him out, and Ramses is going to be caught and blocks the Blade Mail. Tries to turn this, but it does look like eventually, again, the Wraith King will be found.
X-Nova wants that -2. Get over here, buddy.
He's sticking around. They bullied him earlier, but they eventually take the kill.
17 to 10 now, a 4K lead. LGD, are we going to get a second 2-0? Can they keep this going? That's a real question. BP looked pretty defeated after game 1. They've fallen back on an Alchemist. All this pressure on no one. And what was their first foray, really, with the Blink Dagger, did not go very successfully.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you do talk about like the damage mitigation that comes in from the Radiant's Mischance, all of these things working in consort to try and mess with the Terrorblade, but it just doesn't feel like they're at that point right now to be able to fight against the pressure that's coming. And you see this right here. How many feel like comfortable pressing this far forward while the smoke is going on? And they're looking for him. Find him immediately. There's going to be the Yule Scepter. Can they follow it up? Snowball, Walrus Punch. They have the Spirit Vessel. He's not regenning. He's dying.
Even throw the ulti to secure, but Pasha still rotates in here. He's all alone.
Is he really trying to take this? They actually might be able to make this work, though. The silence is going to be there as well. Pasha's dead from zombies as well. They buy back on the Mirana. X-Nova chasing forward on no HP, but FY is going to be there as well. And there's the Laguna Blade onto the Kunkka. Does not even get to cast his ship as Ramses also being ran at. LGD, what are you doing? You're just tearing at him. They're going for the armor toggle, but it's not enough. They take down the bottom tier 3 tower. Ame can carry so much space. They actually might be able to kill off this Terrorblade, but
the Thunder, it's coming.
They've got it. No one in trouble and dead yet again. LGD running over the corpses of Virtus Pro.
I think last game the buybacks weren't there. This time they were for Virtus Pro, but they were not used in the best possible way.
And you can hear the adoration from the crowd right now. A huge win right here as they're taking down the first set of barracks 25 minutes into this game. 13,000 gold lead for LGD.
Now it's one set of racks versus an Alchemist draft. It's not the end here for Virtus Pro, but a 13k gold lead versus an Alchemist. Things are looking fantastic here for PSG LGD. They just retreat back. Some real scribbles across the map for Ramsey, as you can see. I think declaring that their hat's just not safe.
They pick up this Blink Dagger as well on the Tusk now for more of those snowball saves. And, I mean, if you're Virtus Pro at this point, like, it doesn't really feel like there's a plan B. They're kind of in it right now, and they just have to sort of battle their way out of it, it feels like.
Such a clear game plan from PSG LGD around this terribly. Have you ever really felt like Ame was threatened?
Not really.
That was the closest he came to dying, and he was versus like 3 heroes. With the rest of his team on the other side of the map, he takes a tier 3 by himself, and then the reinforcements arrive. They have given him so much room here. Again, it does come back to that vision. You just can't ignore it. He always knows what Virtus Pro is up to.
Speaking of vision, after Roche responds, 10 seconds later, LGD are in the pit. Starting to take it down for what could potentially be.
They have to fight this. There's no choice, but remember, the buybacks are limited for Virtus Pro.
None on at all any of the heroes for Virtus Pro.
Roger, the only one that's even close.
And the arrow's going to go out. It's going to connect on Illusion.
Ramsey's
now they
in.
know there's the Yule Scepter lift up. They do have a global stuff. They want to use it possibly. It's going to be dropped down, but they have the Aegis. It's on the Terrorblade, chasing for more. They bring down X-Nova low, but he's still not dead. He does finally fall. Can they kill off Roger? It is going to happen. And now can they chase for any more? Ramsey still diving into this one. He goes for the snowball. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip onto the Terrorblade, trying to kill him off. The Blade Mail still going for Ramsey as they lay into him. And now there's the Reflection coming out as well. They do bring them down one time, but it comes at the cost of the Wraith King's first life as well.
And he's just all on his own. The team is abandoning Ramses.
And trying to Armotango's way out of it. It's not going to happen. He does take down Chalice. Not a bad kill there. Solo also being killed off as well, though. And 3 dead. That's the Aegis down. At the very least.
Ends up being a relatively even trade across the board there, but once you add in the fact that the Aegis was taken as well as the cheese, they lose the Aegis, but at least they'll get to keep the cheese there on for Ame.
Arrow out, no one trying to go for initiation here. This could be good for them, but they can't even kill off the Tusk early. The Reflection just so hard to fight into that Radiance that you just get
Roger
for free.
needs a big play.
Oh, and the Manta dodge as well. Not bad from Ame. The boat's going to hit, but nothing else.
Yeah, no arrow follow-up, and end up losing a tower as well, just at his catapult. Everything going wrong here for Virtus Pro.
What more can you really say about LGD this game? They've got the BKB now, trying to go for the Assault Grasp on the Lina. Getting closer to the Lincoln Sphere as well. One of the main ways that you've seen BP get back into this, at least a little bit when they've been fighting, is a Fiend's Grip onto that Terrorblade. You can take a look at this replay here.
Yeah, you can see Ramsey. What a play here by, I believe it was Maybe, just wheels him up in the air. Just grabbed him. Made sure he couldn't initiate before the Aegis steal.
At this point, too, going forward through every subsequent fight, they're going to have that Reflection cooldown on the Terrorblade. They found themselves knowing yet again, there is not an answer in the world for that.
That Spirit Vessel is just such a strong counter at this point when you're able to catch up to an Alchemist like this. Can't get into a BKB in time. Still so far right now for Ramsey, or for no one. They go back to the shrine. Oh, thank you, team. It's just still hitting neutrals.
He's doing it. He's fine with that. They do throw out the boat. This is one of the nice parts about Kunkka at this stage in the game, at the very least, is that you can push out creep waves very quickly because of that low cooldown. They're going to need it. As, Pasha, yet again, found, lifted up. There's going to be the Light Strike Array. Hits wall. He's going through the air. The Walrus punch the snowball. Going forward for more. And Pasha in trouble. Gets the Yule Scepter lift off, living, and well, he's still not going to be there. That's some twinkle toes.
Pasha buys a bit of time, right? The wave dies and the tower lives for about 10 more seconds. But that's 10 more seconds for no one to try and get back up here with no buyback. And now he'll have enough gold for the BKB if they want to try one last hurrah using that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, they need to win a fight, it feels like. Drawing even at this point does not feel good enough, and it's even tough drawing even.
And methodical play here from PSG LGD. They already took down the top shrine, they move on to the bottom.
Nice there from Ramses, comes in, secures his team, a little bit of extra gold. Might be what they need to get into those EKBs, as you said. But it's actually going to be out queuing up a Shiva's Guard now instead. Okay. Such a hard game at this point. 19,000 gold lead when you're on an Alchemist. Hero balanced around being ahead.
Looks like no one's just trying to find some sort of an answer to these terribly illusion says. Solo will actually nightmare him to stop a self-stun. What a great teammate.
Oh, yeah. But again, LGD coming into the main event, you know, being able to sustain against the pressure that was coming from VP in game number 1 and then come back with a performance like this in game number 2. Very impressive stuff, as they thought about going on Ramses, but he's not an easy target to take down. Let me know how he feels about it.
Not only is the lead much larger in this game, it's just not the same sort of mechanics for a comeback situation. There's still a tier 1 in the mid lane right now for the side of LGD.
Yeah.
You know, that whole march down mid after a one-team fight, not an easy situation right now for the Radiant to, or rather for First Pro to try and achieve, and buybacks are still there right now for everyone except for the Lina.
They finish off the Shiva's Guard, trying to send the courier around the way to secure that one back for Virtus Pro. They're sending it the very, very long way, but it does have the Shiva's Guard on it.
Invisibility.
And they're just holed up in their base right now.
This means that you can get so much farm around the rest of the map with the rest of the heroes of LGD. Sometimes it can be a little bit dangerous because you have to sort of push out all the side lanes, and that might leave somebody else open. But yeah, you can see 97% is pretty good.
Radiant are scanning.
Scan just to make sure Pasha actually left up top, but he is back where he belongs, hiding away here. LGD look to close this one out again, just a slow play, just building up some more defensive items here, looking for a Lincoln Sphere for Chalice, and FY using this gem just to fully secure the vision, as well as thinking about getting himself a Scythe if he can get there.
Down in their eyes, crossing their T's.
That is the real Ramses down there, and Ame just boldly runs at him.
Does not have a care in the world right now. Cheese, BKB, everything. If they find a pick off here, great. But honestly, they can just wait till the next Roche also if they want to. Within vision, the Sentry and Observer Ward combo, giving pretty good details as to what's happening, but with that gem, it does mean that it's going to be that much less likely that they're going to be able to keep that vision up. They're going to have to play in the dark.
Yeah, I'm sure FY is just itching for it right now, but he will play patiently. As much as he can see these Virtus Pro heroes, he'd rather they actually left the base. They know they need to win some sort of massive fight. So eventually, Virtus Pro are going to feel forced to come out, whether it's the next Roche fight, or if they want to try a sneaky smoke play after a big item pickup. It's probably their best chance to get into it.
Absolutely. And again, just every time you walk out, they can't even finish off a whole creep wave because they don't feel confident, because immediately LGD is there and potentially just going to blow one of them up. I do think that this is a really nice part about the Blade Mail pickup for Ramses. If he didn't have that item, odds are they would just try and kill him every time. But he at least can go out there.
Maybe try and burn his ultimate or something, but they're just not allowing any sort of a response coming out from Virtus Pro, because there are good counter-initiation heroes. Like, Kunk is not the fastest counter-initiator, but when you have an entire reincarnation to work around, it gives good opportunities for Roger to maybe find a couple stuns with the boat, and maybe that'll get enough space for the big Shiva's Guide from no one, and suddenly you've killed one hero and you can run down this fight. We are still dealing with a Tricore that isn't that traditional sense of having like someone relatively tanky. As Solo will finally get caught on a mission here.
Arrow flying out as well. VP, they're going to buy back on Solo. And there's the Diffusal Blade onto Pasha, forcing out the leap. The stun is going to connect. They have the X. The Torrent is going to be off the mark, though. Now the Terrorblade just walks in bold as brass and able to throw out that reflection, daring them to come and fight.
Yeah, and you can see, again, very disciplined play here from PSG LGD. They don't chase at all, even though they have some pretty high mobility.
Oh, there's going to be the stun going out again. Blocked for a moment. They still are tearing into the tower Solo with nowhere really left to go, and he's going to get punched to death. Ame striking forward, asserting dominance over the captain of Virtus Pro, who bought back, so they don't have this Bane in the next fight. And it might not even be a fight, to be honest, the way that this is going. LGD just walking over them. No one trying to get it back with the Shiva's Guard, slow down this pressure that's coming. But this looks like it's going to be the second set of racks. And GG is called. Eventually, LGD stop over them.
That was an emphatic victory from LGD. They never really looked behind. They saw every move coming from Virtus Pro. I think they knew what Virtus Pro were doing before Virtus Pro did. Like, they saw everything. All of these wards across the entire map. Sentries laid down. Moonlight Shadows thwarted constantly. And Ame was given an entire map to farm as terribly.
And, you know, again, you talked about it so many times during the game, but it can't be overstated how much X-Nova played, that vision advantage that they were able to achieve. This is a guy that came on the scene, you know, coming up from Warriors Game and Unity back in the day and actually making his presence known on the big stage. Fabulous story, certainly, and they're going to be continuing on in the upper bracket. Tough stuff for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, it looked difficult there near the end of the draft, too, but questioning like, exactly what's the VP hero that wins this game, but it didn't really feel like they found that correct answer.
All right, well, let's head back and see if our panel has the correct answer as we're finished off here. LGD 2-0 over VP.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lyrical and Torrent. And we have swapped things up here in the panel. We have got Cinderin, March, and Winter to just quickly dissect that 2-0. I don't think anybody was expecting this series to be as convincing for LGD as it turned out to be, Cinderin.
No, I agree. I think there were basically two sides to this series today. I think LGD brought their A game, first of all. And I think the best word I can use to describe VP's play in the series is just reckless. I think they overextended. They took fights that they just were a bit too bloodthirsty, really, and maybe left the mind a little bit behind.
It's interesting to hear you talk about a team that is too bloodthirsty. Can Virtus Pro really be too bloodthirsty, March?
Well, yeah, they seem to play too aggressive is what I feel, and then they didn't give too much respect to what LGD had. And then I felt like Race King, it wasn't best game for him. They had a Weaver to counter him with Diffuser Blade, and then Terrorblade as well, so yeah, it was a bit hard.
I felt partly it was because maybe the overall strat, like Alchemist doesn't do really well in the late game against Terrorblade, so they probably felt like they had a timer. They need to do something before the game goes too late, so some mistakes probably, they were too rushed and they were just not respecting the fact that LGD was strong at that point. But I felt like they had the pressure on their back that they could not go to late game against the Terrorblade.
So was this a draft issue for you, Winter, or was this Virtus Pro just not looking as hot as they have been all year?
Definitely some of it is a draft issue, but at the same time I feel like they definitely had their windows to win the game. With the Alchemist, you have this kind of like, when you get your Radiance like 12 to 15 minutes and you try to take a fight, maybe you win a fight, then you get the Roshan, that's your timing window to be able to control the game and start to win the map back. But that didn't really happen for them, and so they were quite reckless in a few fights where they tried to force too much, and as a result the Terrorblade just got way too big.
And a big Terrorblade, what are you really going to do about that, huh?
Not so much in that game. I think the Terrorblade pick was excellent. But yeah, we've talked a lot about the second game. The reason I think it ties in with the first game as well was that Virtus Pro were actually in a really good position to win that game. They had a rough start, then they got a big lead, and the type of recklessness they had in that game was that they pushed outside the enemy base and they had no buybacks on their cores. Like, they actually lost a game that they were 10k gold ahead in by just buying up all their items and not having any safety net. LGD bought back 2 heroes, fought them, and then they were like, oh, we can actually just end the game. Wow, that was easy. And I wouldn't say it's very uncharacteristic for VP because they have had these moments where they're very aggressive and sometimes over-aggressive, but it just seems to happen a little bit more for them.